forth from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners, wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection, and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio.
Watching the day unfold. Jada books is wonderful. It's something to behold. Well, if you love life as much as I do, put something in the air now. And if you love Jah as much as I do, put something in the. Let me see your hands up, everybody. Hands up. Life is the utmost. Raise the glass, take a toast. Wave your hand from coast to coast. Take out your phone, make a post. Life is the greatest thing, now sing. Life is the greatest. Life is the greatest. Life is the greatest. Life is the greatest thing, now sing. Life is the greatest. Life is the greatest. Life is the greatest. Life is the greatest thing, oh yeah. Take a look around you. And look behind you, Jah works is everywhere. And if you take a look inside you, somewhere deep within you, trust me, He's always there. Well, if you love life as much as I do, put something in the air now. And if you love Jah as much as I do, put something in the. Let me see your hands up, everybody. Hands up, everybody. Hands up. Life is the greatest thing, now sing. Life is the greatest. Life is the greatest. Life is the greatest. Life is the greatest thing, now sing. Life is the greatest. Life is the greatest. Life is the greatest. Life is the greatest thing, oh yeah. Life over, mama. 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 Life over.
Wake up, rise up. It's the NETT Radio Breakfast Show, bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
Well, you know what? What he's simply saying is that you have choice. And yes, you do. Life over that. Greatness over the despair, you know. Life is the greatest. So you know what? Choose life. And if you love life as much as I do, trust me, then you know you're in a good place. Good morning, everybody. And of course, welcome to it. It's now 7 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock. It's a beautiful midweek Wednesday. Yes, it is a Wednesday. And of course, you are listening to NETT Radio, New Era TT Radio. The heartbeat of the Caribbean, taking you above and beyond. So let me say good morning to Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning to you. You're getting up to a beautiful morning, and we are thankful for that. Neighbors in the Caribbean, how are you guys doing? And of course, our friends who are streaming all around the globe, different time zones, time slots. Oh, we're so happy that you can make it this morning. What is nice about it, you came with a smile on your face too. So much thanks to the Heavenly Father for bringing us together for another day. All that we do, dear God, let it be a blessing unto you. Sir Charles, that is me. Happy am I as always to be in this space. Trust me, I'm very happy to be in this space with you guys. And we welcome you to the Wednesday edition of The Breakfast Show.
Get up, it's the time to start the day. The Breakfast Show is here, we bring in the soca way. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line. Let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Good vibes rolling through the air. The Breakfast Show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your double or your morning drink.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
It's Hub Day. Oh, good morning, everybody. Oh, my word. Isn't life wonderful? Yeah, it is, you know. Make the best of it, yes, because trust me, you don't know when or where it's going to stop. So enjoy it to the max. Welcome to the Breakfast Show, everybody. We're happy to be in the space with you this morning, as I said, and, you know, it really feels good to know that, you know, we can keep your company Monday to Friday between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. Let me say good morning to my co-host, Richard, who I'm sure will join us somewhere in between this space once he gets his computer started. And of course, Wendell, who's here very early. Wendell, good morning.
Yeah, sorry, morning, Sir Charles, morning, Richard, morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. I just have a little coughing fit, just so all of a sudden. I think I was having my coffee and I swallowed it too quickly. You know, so forgive me if I start a cough every now and then, or if I have to take off my mic. Yeah, good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe. I heard from Manish early this morning. Well, early in my morning, but it's evening time by him. He's on his way home from work. I guess he must be home by now. You know, so good afternoon, good evening, Manish. and good afternoon to the folks out there in, of course, Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. Um, who do I have? Do I have birthdays today? No, none of these people I know actually, but maybe they listen. Althea Five, Haley Rupchan, and Kadisha Dinon. I don't know any of you personally, but you're my friends on Facebook. So happy birthday. You might actually be listeners of this show. um, so have an absolutely wonderful day. Today is August 19th, 2026. It's the day of that pan lovers absolutely love too. It's Pan and Powder, that parade that takes place from City Hall today, all the way up to the Queen's Park Savannah. And I actually have the listings of the bands. Let me find.
Okay. What time does it start today?
It starts at 5 p.m. There's normally some speeches out by City Hall with the mayor and Pan Trinidad president. They are bands stationed at City Hall. So let me tell you what's happening today, right? Pan Trinidad presents its signature event, Steel Pan and Powder Parade. The event begins at 5 p.m. today at City Hall. Come out and enjoy the top steel orchestras and powder revelry. The parade route is that they start at City Hall and they go up Pembroke Street, across Keith Street, along Frederick Street to Queen's Park Savannah. They're asking you to wear white naturally because it's powder. And at the City Hall, there'll be 4 bands stationed there. Panny Leads, Tropical Angel Harp, Screw Up Sejando, and Proman Star. They will be stationed at City Hall, I guess, but I don't know from what time, because after the bands play, once the parade starts, nobody stays at City Hall anymore.
Yeah. So they are probably like the priests, so they probably have a particular period where we're able to listen to those bands before the speeches and the official opening, and then we move in.
Yes. Once the parade starts, everybody heads out. And who's on the parade? Skiffle, that's from San Fernando, First Citizen Supernovas, and Massey Trinidad All Stars, naturally. Because Massey Trinidad All Stars, you don't want a better pan to be accompanying you on the move. Massey is known for that, right? So they'll be on the road. And of course, up at the Queen's Park Savannah, you'll get Southern Stars, Cuba Joylanders, Shell Invaders, Desperados, and BP Renegade. They will all be stationed up at the Savannah. It's a beautiful day for pan lovers, I'll tell you that. And if you're not a pan lover, today is a good day to start. I'll tell you that.
Well, after Summercock, I have a song that I've chosen for you guys today. Peter Wilson chose this song for you guys this morning.
Just play pan.
From a band that I like that is not on that list that when they just call out there.
Exodus.
Yes.
Yeah, I figured it's Exodus. I'm surprised though. Exodus.
All the Lebanese band.
Yeah, Exodus I think is normally there, but maybe it's whoever is available. Maybe they're touring or something, It could be whoever is available, So yeah, but that's happening today in town. So just be mindful of that too, also because there could be traffic restrictions that are already in Port of Spain, right? Just be mindful of that.
Yeah, you will get some restrictions there. But the good thing is that they're going up Pembroke, so Pembroke is
up Pembroke, yes.
And so that they're going straight up to by the Keith Street.
Keith Street, then they make a right.
And then let's go across.
And then up Frederick, that top part of Frederick, into the Savannah.
Yeah, but that really shouldn't, that's a nice route, Yeah, that's cool. It shouldn't really disrupt the Savannah traffic coming wrong. They would come wrong and head down Frederick as normal, So I think it's a pretty nice route.
Yeah. It's happened quick too. I've done that quite a few times actually.
It's short. Yeah, when you enjoy yourself and you're chipping behind the band, it has moved quick.
Watch All Stars that have a long trail behind them, heading up that street.
Yeah.
But it's be enjoyable. So, and it's always a safe event, It's so just go out and enjoy it, man. As I say, if you're not a pan lover, today's a good day to start.
Yeah, just come out and experience it, man. It's a nice vibes.
Yeah, it is. It is. All right, so those are my greetings for the morning, Sir Charles.
All right, well, there are some good greetings this morning. So that's it. How the weather was on all this side yesterday? Yes, actually, I was on all this side yesterday. Yesterday it was hot.
Yeah, yesterday didn't have any rain at all.
Oh, yesterday was hot, boy. Way, yeah. You talk
Yeah,
about when Alison and say the iron hammer Bazuri. Well, boy, the sun had me Bazuri yesterday. I never wanted to come home to the sun so quickly. I just wanted to get home.
Yeah, it had no rain anywhere yesterday. I don't think it had rain at all
I
anywhere.
don't know, but I just wanted to get home. As I got home and hit the showers one time. Yes, whoa.
Yeah.
Crazy,
I didn't
man.
know you were coming by me yesterday. Otherwise, I would have made proper arrangement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But because I generally don't come into Port of Spain on a Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
You know, once
That's
I
all.
leave town on a Friday, a Monday, I generally not back again until maybe Wednesday. Well, I'm down in town again today. Yeah.
All right. Well, we are here. So let's do our good news and then come back now.
Yes, of course.
So for all our listeners there on the stream, we're not have been seeing like all you streaming listeners, a guy doing what we used to call break dancing and stuff, and he has one leg.
Yeah. That's an amazing video, eh?
He did a flip there. I said, "Oh my gosh!" I thought at that point in time, I said, like how those gymnasts just do the flip and look like they're just about to crash. I thought he was going to crash with that one, but boy, he catch it just in time, boy. Woo!
Yeah. He's a strong individual.
Yeah,
That upper body strength he has. And well, with that one leg, the strength he has in that one leg.
yeah.
That's an amazing video.
It is, and it just goes to show, your resilience and what you can do, even though you have your challenges and stuff. I don't know if he was a break, but I suppose he probably was doing that break dancing maybe before he even lost the leg, or if he,
Yes.
whichever way it is, but he still is doing what he loves, and I like that. Yeah. I saw a guy actually also in another video a while now, and he had one leg and he was dancing, doing Latin dancing, boy. If you see how good this man is when with this one leg dancing, wow! And he and his partner, and they were in a competition, and and if you see how good, boy, man, I was so impressed. Yeah. So sometimes you have your challenges, but you know what? Don't give up. Live your life as best as you can, and do the best that you could. Be the best that you could always be. I think that is the message that I take away from it. So yeah, be your best.
Yeah, the orange man has joined us. You look like Donald Trump,
You find a little orange.
Yeah, you're very orange today.
I don't know, maybe it's health. So good morning to our listeners and viewers wherever you are. of course, in whatever time zone across the planet. A special good morning to those of you in Ethiopia, because Wendell never says a special good morning to you all.
I did say
And
it today. It's not morning in Ethiopia anyway.
did you say it today? No, you did not.
I did say it.
Yes, he did. He did.
I said Addis Ababa. You didn't
Yeah.
listen.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He went
Good morning.
exactly.
Of course, good morning to my co-host Wendell and Sir Charles. Good morning, guys.
Hi, Richie Rich. How are you? Well, I see you have
I'm good. You know, I have been that Chief Justice decision has been weighing on my mind. I don't know if there's been any feedback on it since he made the announcement, or whether lawyers have objected or not. But you know what occurred? You know what occurred to me? I don't know if the Law Association has said anything, or whether there's been any pushback. And let me tell you what occurred to me, Wendell. The judiciary would have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not crossing millions into million, if not crossing a million plus, in terms of rolling out its virtual technology, right? And getting equipped for what became virtual court. But beyond whatever the judiciary would have spent, there are many institutions and lawyers' offices that would have spent thousands and thousands of dollars outfitting special rooms for virtual court.
Mm-hmm.
And different institutions had several virtual rooms because you have several lawyers in court at the same time.
Yep.
So you have special places, you have special spaces in many institutions, legal institutions and chambers and stuff, where they have now outfitted and dedicated to virtual court, because that's where the judiciary was going and had gone. And I mean, they had several meetings with stakeholders and stuff for that transformation. And for you to just glibly roll it back, because on a if, a wish and a when from maybe one or two attorneys who whisper in your ear, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh. But it's something that needs to be revisited, because the amount of money that has been spent in terms of places outfitting and buying hardware to make sure that you could do virtual court.
And you know what is interesting about it also, Richard, and sorry about that, Wendell. Even with all the recent engagement a couple of weeks ago, it was very efficient. It was on time. It didn't last long, and that's what And so if I had to do all of that and go into Port of Spain and go through all of the hassle of getting there and getting home, and for to spend less than 2 minutes in a courtroom, that would be very frustrating.
Yeah. So it is an astonishing and anti-intellectual, anti-logical move that I cannot see makes any sense. Just when you thought Trinidad and Tobago judiciary was pushing back, because there are other countries that have virtual court, but just when you thought Trinidad was going to push it even further and be more of a pioneer and be more innovative in the judicial system, you went back to the same old.
Yeah.
There
are a couple articles on it today. Where the Sarah Lacan of the Southern Lawyers is actually supporting it. And so she's saying the success depends on readiness of court facilities. Then there's a quote from the Assembly of Central Legal Practitioners who agreed with the judiciary's announcement. So apparently some people are agreeing with it, Richard. But no proper reason has been proffered for why you go back.
And those, I don't know if those, I can't understand why those lawyers would agree with it in terms of the magisterial court part of it. As I said, criminal court, in terms of criminal high court, I could understand, and there is a real justification for having in-person court for that. But for magisterial matters, no. I don't understand that unless lawyers want to tout. Because you're in court and you're saying, well, again, this case, I don't know, because you're not supposed to, but it happens, right?
Well, Richard, you've raised two issues in 2 days that I didn't think of, because that was a feature of going to court too. People were touting in court.
Yes.
The issue of the parking you raised on Monday, you understand? and now you're raising this issue of them unable to do that because they would not have been able to do that if they're not in a physical court.
No, much more difficult.
My God.
And so it makes no sense for the citizens who have to interface with the court system. And I'm surprised that lawyers associations, leaders, because they will talk as if they're talking for the whole assembly, but it may not be unanimous. Would make a decision like that. After all that money was spent, and there were meetings about all of this going through. I was in those meetings. I have been in meetings with the judiciary concerning, virtual court and whatever the hiccups were and stuff like that. So it's like all of that was for zero. Because
you know what you're going on face again, because we haven't heard that sort of narrative in a little while. The huge backlog of cases. You're going right back there, right?
Yes.
We're going right back there.
Of course we are. You're going back to a system that you knew was problematic. It's incredulous. I don't know. Is it that the gray matter paused in so many people's brains? You're going back to a system that was problematic. And more so for citizens that have to interface with the court system.
Yeah, because even if you're maybe experiencing some hiccups with what is taking place, iron it out, fix it, and move forward.
The only hiccup you could be experiencing is if internet go down. Another hiccup. The judge, the magistrate, literally home or wherever he or she is, logging on time. I mean, I've been privy to that. As opposed to sitting down in a court and waiting for a magistrate to arrive and then hearing some emergency come up and all the matters had to be put off. That was a feature of in-court hearings. In-court thing.
It makes no logical sense. As I say, from magisterial matters specifically, it makes no logical sense. Because that's a huge volume of how people interface with the court system. That magisterial system, whether it be traffic matters, whether people arguing about tickets, whether people, answering because they didn't have the insurance, whatever it is, all manner of cases, are before the magistrate's court, maintenance matters, custody matters, all sorts of matters before. And all of those people have to go back into the court system now. And their lawyers agreeing with that? Oh, come on. Come on.
Anyway, let's go into our chat today and greet some folks. Robert Allen came in last night. Kenny in Harlem, Odell Guy, Manuela Peters. You remember Tanya? Trinman, it's here again.
Go ahead, you could go ahead. I will catch up because you always have to talk and say, I know this name. So I will eventually catch up.
Eunice Dublin, Apollinus, Marcia Rock. Empress Lania, who complaining? Charles. Robert Taylor, Pamela O'Connor, Suzanne Jessup, and that's Suzanne Suzette, Corinne, Mrs. Gemma, Maria H, and Maria S, Diane Payne, Anthony Tinto, who's in Trinidad, Joyce Phillip, John Cato. Well, Tinto, if nobody knew he was in Trinidad, they don't know. John Cato, Marlon Motley in North Valsayn.
Good morning, Marlon.
Hillary Benjamin, Carla Hercules, Nicola McNichols, Boy Bidesi from Debe, Arlene Lois, Melissa from Chamflair, Maureen Dilchan Maraj, who joins us every now and then. I'm sure she joins us every day, but she'll greet us every now and then. Gavin Frank from Powder Magazine, Ingrid from Tucson, Arizona, Philomena Ali, good morning. Empress Rezlal is singing. Dave Gosain, Ian Stewart, Lester Cragwell, Wayne Ramsey, Prabha Ramdial, Michael Eastman, Dwayne Sylvester, Sankofa is saying bountiful graces. Sankofa, I see those directional signs have been, I don't know if they've been put up now, tested in the St. Joseph area. Tell me how it's working. because the person from the ministry sent me that information. Julius
I
Samantha,
saw them up, and I have no idea how that is going to. To be honest, I have no idea how that is going to work and how it's going to change what happens now. Because what happens now is kind of organic. All of a sudden, this side deciding they in the lane, and the other side and suddenly deciding they in the lane. Or sometimes people will be in the lane together and they will just move aside. It's very organic.
It's always to be policed, if you know what I mean. Because an arrow up in the air, an X saying you don't go in the lane, or arrows telling you go in the lane, ain't police, you know. So if you actually go there, who is to stop it or to penalize you?
Yeah, I don't know. But strangely enough, Wendell, in all of what I'm calling organic deciding of who goes into that middle lane, most people are actually in the far left or far right.
Or far right,
lane.
yes.
Yeah, depending on whatever
far left
it is.
in both instances.
But far left in both directions. Most people keep to the far left lane. It's an outrider that will suddenly zoom past. Even if it's in traffic, I was in it sometime recently, and I was making note of it now. And I'm saying that wait, I said, look, people are actually just keeping to the left lane, and it was a line, and it was just one person on the outrider who decided whoosh and went up the road, but everybody else just kept. And even after that person did that, everybody else just kept to the lane.
Yeah, they're still amongst us.
Yeah.
Anyway, Angela, did I say Gerald Hawaii, Angela Green, Chris Tusa, Michael Robinson out there in Yokohama, Japan, Sadia Andrews, Habari to all. Please, what's Habari, Sadia? What language is that? What greeting is that? Debbie Modest, Alistair Hart, pan in your waistline, Beauty Culture, Stellar Services, Gas 16 is saying that there was rain briefly in San Fernando yesterday. Sankofa, I will get back to that, because you see that why I tell Minister Alexander, stay away from the public, stay away from the media. Or you could tell people you don't even know where your child is, but you're asking where the commissioner is. Something wrong with him. Your boss don't even know where he is, but you're asking where the commissioner is. I swear, this hubris go lick up real people in this politics. It doesn't lick up enough. Empress Reyes is saying, wow, Chris Tusa, we have Grand P in DC this weekend. So half of downtown lockdown. My friends and them went up to Delaware last weekend for Carnival. Chris, were you involved in that? Trinidad Margot, good morning. Sherma Paul, Robert Harper. Robert Harper is saying, I have a 12-year-old non-verbal, high-functional autistic son. His willingness to learn and continue to thrive amazes us daily. Yeah, autistic children are amazing. Autistic people on the whole are amazing. I don't hesitate to watch any movie where autism is featured. You know, the best I've seen is that feature with the doctor.
Good Doctor.
That series, The Good Doctor. That's the best I've seen. Trust me, I could watch that over and over and over again. Suzanne is saying, all right. Slick Money Grip, good morning. Ron DeSantis Jr. Go on lineup or waste an entire day. What's that about? Gas 16. Cheryl Maraj. All right, a lot of rechatters here. Oops. Victor Charles. Richard, a combination of virtual and in-person hearings is a good thing. Mrs. R says, good morning. Valerie Mendoza. Richard, you know how elite it looks walking the street and going up the court steps in their court garb and standing in court to fight cases? And as that caller said yesterday, and people genuflecting at you and bowing, I guess that's what they want. Sankofa say, Yes, they are up, but not activated. We see it especially on bridges in the States, line open. All right. So it's up, but it's not activated as yet. All right.
A judge is more senior to a magistrate.
For sure.
You have magistrates, you have masters, and you have judges.
Right.
And then you have Court of Appeal judges.
Sankofa, yes, Delaware apparently has carnival because I saw some images where a group of people who I know went. Habari is hello in Swahili, the most spoken African language in the motherland. Blessed day, Wendell. And thanks, Sadia, and good morning to Bernadette and Nelicia Yates. Those are the greetings on the chat.
Okay, so people coming in early this morning on the WhatsApp. Frank out there in Aruka, good morning to you. Miss St. Augustine came in very early this morning. Wow. Peter Wilson, good morning. Sankofa is also here. Captain Ron, how you doing? And the folks out there in Orlando. Archbishop Ashton Clark in Ottawa, Canada. Fifi in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, good day to you. Miss Ingrid is also here, and the chat and Ingrid is up very early. Ingrid, wow. All right. Mr. Beeps out there in Pity Valley. Good morning also to Zena, who's coming along. Okay, I'm happy to hear that, Zena. Continue to take your meds, take your rest. You know. Also, Rita Buru Jennings saying, yeah, man, All Stars is the boss of the later on. All right. So we know Rita back in the All Stars fan now. Suzanne is also here. And I want to say good morning to Pauline, who is getting ready to go to the gym. She says she's asleep a little bit today. All right, that is okay. All right. And of course, all the people who are listening to us on Gael TV, thank you very much for being here and being part of the breakfast show. 23 minutes before the hour of 7 o'clock to make sure we keep you always in check with time. And we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we'll see what's trending in the newspapers today. So stay with us.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
What do we all want for Trinidad and Tobago? Safer communities, greater opportunities, and a better future. Join Denise Deming every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio for Common Ground TNT. Each week, respected guests tackle the issues affecting our nation, from crime and education to healthcare, the economy, and good governance. Common Ground TNT, finding solutions through conversation. Tuesdays at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio, NETT Radio.
Flavor Entertainment Services, your one-stop premium entertainment service provider. We offer top-tier, best-in-class karaoke and DJ services for your private events, sports bars and lounge. Let us help make your birthday parties, weddings, anniversaries, and corporate special events memorable and special. Call us now at 462-2029. We provide more than just music. We create memories that last.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
All right. We could get straight into the news today. Do I have any new people coming in? No, that's it. TSTT CEO out. That's the headline in today's Express. Pararat contract ended, but board took decision after yesterday's appraisal. Keno Cox has been replaced by, they have the person here too, by Riza Hussain. All right, this is the third acting CEO of TSTT in the last year. All right, so that's the main story on the front page. Also on the front page, Bailey Bridge for Independence Day celebrations, and they've actually put 2 Bailey Bridges in the savannah for dignitaries to drive on to get to the parade area. And I have a question. Somebody is loving it, message me. Have they been putting? Will the public be allowed to go into the savannah and sit for the Independence Day parade? They haven't said that yet. They haven't said anything about accommodation for the public, have they? I just heard about accommodation for the dignitaries. But if somebody could tell me if the public is allowed to go into the savannah for seating, because there are several people who still want to go to the parade, but of course, they will want to sit. Is that allowed? I don't know. If you know, let us know, please. In-person court hearings resume on September 1st. That's also one of the trending stories. TSTT drops Cox as acting CEO. The XC official urges concern over absent students. Over 35,000 secondary school students never showed up for CAPE and CSEC exams this year. Over 35,000 in the region.
In the region? Oh, I was wondering.
Wow. Yeah, in the region,
That's a worrying trend. Yeah.
Alexander, no issue with cops, Commissioner of Police absence. Sturge Independence Infrastructure at Queen's Park, Savannah temporary. FCB Group Chair, 2 key positions will soon be filled. In-person hearings, as I said, resume on September 1st. Careless dad placed on bond. Apparently, he left his 3-year-old daughter alone in a car park in San Fernando and Price Smart in La Romaine. And he went with his other daughters to do something. He's a single father with 4 daughters, so I guess all of that would have played on the decision to put him on a bond. Right? Man and PDO spotted by off-duty cops. Man hospitalized after killing Trini mom and sister, and that story started to trend. That's a terrible story.
Yeah, in New York.
Some mental illness, and he shot and killed his mother and his sister. His wife got away because she was in the house. She's the one who called for help, actually. But apparently he has a history of mental illness. All Trinidadians, that's one of the main stories. Man gets $200,000 for false imprisonment. That's another story of why police officers should pay the price at the end of the day. You read that story, and that's another horror police story of abuse and imprisoning somebody, and the person now has to be paid by the state $200,000 for police brutality.
And it should be the state, Wendell.
Yeah?
It should be the state, because the man might not have no money. In addition to which, you have senior officers in all police stations. And sometimes other officers know that it's a wrong arrest.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody goes along ho-hum, with the issue.
Yeah.
So the state should damn well pay.
Yeah. And there should be some kind of mechanism in place when these things happen to pull everybody who may have been involved in those things too, man.
Any word on the officer?
The internal dynamics of whatever performance appraisals that you do for police officers, I don't know if they do. I assume you do. Whatever performance appraisal, that should come up in your performance appraisal. You have cost us $200,000.
Yeah.
Because you did a wrong process or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have performance appraisals. Probably not.
The officer in St. James, who I tell you about, he's still harassing people. They say the other day he walked into the hospital, the infirmary, to give 4 tickets to somebody. He harassing people every morning here in St. James. And he's still there. He's a constable. He's about 80, going on 75.
Yeah, well,
And he's a constable. No wonder why. And he's still harassing people out here every morning, every day, speaking to people in an aggressive manner and just ticketing people like mad for all kind of things.
anyhow, that is the express, Wendell.
Yeah, well, the back pay frustration, and he said port workers dissatisfied over arrest, and CWU meets Ampere workers facing termination. Those are all trending stories in today's Express.
Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for this morning. Star seeks urgent care. 70-year-old complains of severe chest pains, loses 27 pounds, but attorneys say repeated requests for doctors' visits have gone unanswered by the Commissioner of Police. I can't believe they still have. Star Sabga's story has kind of gone gone under the radar.
The 9-day wonder.
Yeah, it's gone under the radar, and you're wondering why that isn't being articulated more in court to get her completely released, because it's the same evidence with regard to what would have upon which they would have released their deeds, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's the same circumstance. She was the more vocal one, taking it for granted, but still, for a lot of citizens across the country. Anyway.
So she's still on like house arrest?
House arrest, yes.
So if a former government minister could say that is not me in that video using drugs, she could say that is not me on that voice. Go ahead.
What happened there? Right. Penal woman among 5 issued with PDOs. Man charged with murders of Trini mom and sister in New York home. Labor union leaders differ on call to put political loyalties aside. Of course they're going to differ. Self-interest is a powerful, powerful motivator, you know. Mm-hmm. People underestimate the power of self-interest, you know. And politicians understand it. You know, they understand it. If you're really Machiavellian, like, you will understand what the power of self-interest can do in terms of taming your opposition and your opponents. Read into it however you want to read into it. TSTT replaces acting CEO after review of his tenure. Like, everything under Barry Padarat's remit is in some level of bacchanal and chaos.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to say that, but you're right.
But I mean, those institutions, I mean, are always difficult, I guess, on whatever level, because they're so huge. But like TSTT and WASA, but TNTech, you haven't heard anything from at this point. But certainly WASA and TNTech, and well, TST. There was a lot of condemnation against Felicia on social media when I was reading some of the comments concerning the whole WASA imbroglio, if you want to call it that, because is it settled? Is it not settled? I don't know. But anyway, but I mean, they are big institutions, and they are legacy institutions. They've been there forever. I always wondered why the state never just sold off TSTT. Why is the state holding on to that? Because it's 49% to 50%. Why didn't you just 49 to 51? Why doesn't the state just sell its stake? I don't understand.
Because those institutions are held on by politicians to dispense political patronage. All governments do it. The last government did it. This government doing it. This government is moving quick and swift. That's all. They're just doing things without even thinking. You know the PNM ways: talk, consult, write paper, think again, talk, consult, have a press conference, consult. Not this government, you know.
Yeah.
They wake up in the morning and they want to do something, they're doing it.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Do not engage in price gouging, Minister urges chicken industry. This is in Business News. Cinema One cuts losses. Digital pouring more money into TNT. And Player workers in limbo, which is something we touched on earlier this week. CXC launches new certification program. Commissioner of Police not in breach of TTPS protocol, says government officials. Joseph, in sports, Joseph and Fraser claim under 19 ping pong titles. Barnes, Waller, and Rajkumar secure junior Carabao singles titles. Perfect Cardinals claim all sectors under 16 title with unbeaten run, and TNT volleyball men finish 10th at Pan Am Cup. So that's it for, the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent, guys. All right, so let's get into what did you know? And when we come back, we're going to open the phone lines and, of course, treat with the morning poll.
When all the AI companies are preparing to IPO at the same time, your economic alarm bells should be going off. So let's do some quick math to understand what's actually going on here. The biggest AI companies, OpenAI, Anthropic, xAI, Gemini, have spent over $1 trillion building their products, and more than $2 trillion has been committed. So where are they getting all that money? For the most part, they've raised it from private investors like venture capital firms, private equity, and other tech companies, like Amazon, which owns parts of OpenAI and Anthropic, or A16Z, which owns parts of OpenAI and xAI. Those investors provided the cash to fund the AI build-out, and in return they got equity, a percentage of ownership of these companies, which means if the companies sell, they get rich. But here's the problem for the investors. AI isn't generating much revenue at all. The annual revenue of these world-changing AI companies is barely over $50 billion. Compared to more than $2 trillion in financial commitments, that's tiny. So these business geniuses are doing the math and realizing, wait, this isn't a good business, is it? But they're not going to take the fall because they have a better plan, introducing the IPO. That's when private companies go public by selling stock to the public, like you and me. Now you might be thinking, wait, I'm not going to buy any of this AI stock. This isn't my problem. Well, that's where you're wrong. Because do you have a 401k? Is it invested in the stock market? Well, then you're about to be the owner of AI stock. Because these companies are going to go straight into the stock indexes, which means if you own an index fund, you will be bought in automatically. For example, the NASDAQ, one of the biggest indexes, actually changed its rules to get SpaceX into its portfolio faster. So whether or not we go buy AI stock individually, billions of dollars of our money will be invested into AI stock, whether we like it or not, which means these IPOs are going to allow AI companies to take the public's money at super inflated valuations while the AI bubble is at its peak. That will allow them to pay out their investors and executives who will walk away with huge piles of cash. That is why they're racing to IPO now, to cash out before the bubble bursts. And that is how you use private capital to build a speculative bubble, cash out, make yourself rich, and leave the public holding the bag.
That's a very interesting, did you know? Very, very interesting. What he's actually predicting at some point in time, this whole AI trust could be one big pyramid,
It's going up like what the last thing, cryptocurrency.
But I think Anthropic made a profit of over nearly 560 billion. Was it billion or million? $560 million recently. So they are, and I don't know how true it is to say that they're not profitable, because a lot of them charge subscriptions for different tiers of of how much you use it. So. Yeah. And AI is here to stay. I'm assuming. I don't know because you remember when they first started talking about AI, they say AI is more revolutionary than many other of man's inventions over the last 10,000 years or whatever it is that mankind has been progressing scientifically. And it's considered one of the marker points, like how fire was discovered. And it's like one of those marker points, like when the wheel was discovered and things like that. AI is one of those marker points. So,
I watched over just briefly White House down yesterday when AI started launch codes and things for that to start wars, then you're going to realize how dangerous it is when they started with their own codes.
Yeah, well, there's always that dangerous element. But as Richard said, I don't see us going back from it.
No. Yeah. It's very difficult to go back because the Pandora's box has been opened. Yeah. And not only that, but recently, I can't remember if it was Anthropic or if it was OpenAI, where boxed in or firewalled, let's call it firewalled, I may be using the wrong terminology, a firewalled AI agent, I'm paraphrasing just to make it understandable, which wasn't supposed to have access to the internet, right? Because they were working, they're working in different environments. Because remember, they have all levels of scales of AI, and some are not open to the public because, of course, the danger in terms of what could happen and stuff like that, and because they're still putting in guardrails. And this particular agent, I'm calling it an agent, was not supposed to have access to the internet, and the AI worked out and went through different loopholes and got access to the internet. And it was startling. I remember it made BBC News. I don't know if you all had read that news story or saw that news story, but whatever hoops and jumps it did, it got out.
Yeah.
And they were a little bit panicked about it. Mm-hmm. And it was an international news story. So, I don't know, no, but when I talk into AI, I say thank you and please, and so they will know I'm a friend.
Trust me. Trust me.
They're going to be looking out for you when the time comes.
They'll say, he is a friend, he's always been polite. But you see that grubby one called Wendell Stephen? Nah, stole his car.
People, you can give us a call now, 281-1315-299-5156. Of course, you take a couple of your calls on whatever issues you have, or you would like to highlight. And
let me contextualize the poll for them, Sir Charles, the poll that we're going with, right? It's concerning the comments from Minister of Homeland Security, Roger Alexander. I can't read the entire article, so I'll just go down to the end, where he also criticized the focus on Guevaro's whereabouts, arguing that public officials should be entitled to some privacy. I agree with that. It is almost like when you enter public office, your personal life becomes the public. Some things that we need to leave alone at times. And when the time comes, we explain it all. Alexander also questioned the logic behind continued questions about the commissioner's whereabouts. There are persons who continue to ask a certain question that makes no logical sense. Why is he doing using these kind of words? And I often say this. There are some persons right now asking where the commissioner is, and they don't know where the chairman are. They're asking where the commissioner is and where they are employed right now. The boss looking for them.
Not helpful. And it's not, I don't think it's an issue. And let me say, partly he's right that people will have their own emergency situations and their own personal life to traverse even while in public office. But because you're in public office, there is going to be a level of scrutiny. That's why in public office. Yeah. That's just a given.
Stick up in there, guys.
Let me just finish the chance. I just want to make one point. So, but I think the issue is the transparency of it. So that if it is that the police service came out, or the Minister of Homeland Security came out and said, look, the Commissioner of Police is going on some emergency leave, but because Parliament is not in session, we will not be able to do, because of the convoluted process, we will not be able to appoint acting Commissioner of Police, but DCP DCP Benjamin will, in fact, be assuming the senior role during the period. End of story. There's nothing to ask.
What's so hard in that? What's so hard in that? And done all that. All right, hold there, guys. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Norfolk, Virginia, front and center.
Let's go.
News coming here. Hey, thank you to my source and sources combined. Updates. I should bring receipts to the table. And Wendell, remember yesterday, tell me next time I'll talk about something. provide the information and evidence, well, my sources did bring to my attention that when the former Prime Minister returned, and I quote, I just came back from California, and if I never go back there again in my life, I will ensure the sovereignty of Trinidad and Tobago. I will ensure that the sovereignty of Trinidad and Tobago is known to its people and respected by all. So yes, he was angry, and it was in relation to what Marco Rubio revealed and the State Department about this racket that Cuba runs with its doctors that is sent all over the developing world. And this is, so that's basically where the quote was coming from that I wasn't able to
Why say it's a racket? Why are you calling it a racket?
Yeah. It is a racket because guess what? The real money that is passed for sending those doctors, okay, and so on, those doctors who now in the United States will tell you that they're not really paid what they're really worth, and then even local doctors too concerned about some of the standards of some of these doctors and that they're being paid on par with them and so on. But hey, as Forrest Graham says, that's all I'm going to say, and let somebody else who involved in that industry talk about it. So anyway, that's my 2 cents there, and I'll talk to you guys sometime soon. Okay, take care.
Yeah. Okay, thanks very much, Ron.
You just prolong that, Richard, by asking that question. Anyway, our poll. So Charles put up our poll. It's related to, of course, what Minister Alexander would have said, that why are people asking questions about the Commissioner of Police not being around? Why are they asking? Because they don't even know where the churn is. Anybody on this chat, you all know what the child is right now? Stop asking about the Commissioner. Surely don't know what the churn is. Your churn. Let me use correct grammar. Let me don't talk like him.
All right, people. So we are going to the news.
What I want to know about Commissioner Guevara for, eh? All right.
So the morning poll is?
Richard?
Are you concerned about the response from the Minister of Homeland Security regarding the missing Commissioner of Police? That's our poll. Are you concerned about the response from the Minister of Homeland Security regarding the missing Commissioner of Police? That's our vote, our poll this morning, sorry. You can vote 1 if you are concerned, or vote 2 if you're not concerned. So just type 1 or just type 2, depending on which side of the fence you're on. You may not be concerned at all because you just don't care. You just vote 2. If you are concerned about, language and things used and what was said, vote 1. End the story. That's it for our poll. And we'll give you the poll results in the next hour.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is NETT Radio News Now.
This is News Now on NETT Radio and Guile TV. I am Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. Commissioner of Police Alistair Guevara did not breach protocol when he left Trinidad and Tobago last week. Senior government officials say Guevara applied to the Police Service Commission for emergency leave and was granted permission to leave the country. Officials have not disclosed when he left or when he is expected to return. In his absence, Deputy Commissioner of Police Administration Junior Benjamin has assumed responsibility for the police service, although he has not received an official instrument appointing him acting commissioner. Benjamin says the TTPS is not leaderless and continues to carry out its mandate, including operations under the state of emergency. Officials say a formal acting appointment could not be made because Parliament is currently in recess. Guevara and Police Service Commission Chairman Dr. Wendell Wallace have not responded to requests for comment. Steelworkers Union President Timothy Bailey says former steelworkers must be included in plans to restart the Point Lisa steel plant. Bailey says the union feels it has been frozen out of the process, despite representing workers at the facility for about 4 decades. Government and Pinnacle Steel and Vanadium Corporation announced plans last week to restart the former ArcelorMittal plant, with an estimated investment of $750 million and about 500 permanent jobs expected. Bailey says the union welcomes the investment and the return of steel production, but insists the reopening cannot come at the expense of the workers who built the industry. He is calling on government and the new owners to engage the union and former workers and respect their rights to representation and collective bargaining. Bailey says many former workers remain willing to return to the facility. Communication Workers Union Secretary General Joanne Ogier is calling on trade unions to put political loyalties aside and unite in defense of workers. Ogier says workers are facing job losses, rising living costs, and increasing economic pressure, regardless of whether they support the PNM or UNC. She says unions must remember their responsibility to workers and break what she describes as a silence within sections of the labor movement. Ogier also expressed solidarity with Public Services Association President Felicia Thomas and WASA workers involved in an ongoing dispute with government. She says the CWU expects to face increased pressure because it remained politically independent during the general election campaign. Ogier says the current situation is a critical test of trade union unity. The Caribbean Examinations Council has launched the Caribbean Targeted Education Certificate, or CTEC, describing it as a game changer for regional education. CXC Registrar and CEO Dr. Wayne Wesley says the program allows students to complete subjects through focused modules, earning credentials step by step without lowering examination standards. He says the pilot mathematics module was highly successful, with 88% of the 2,535 candidates earning acceptable grades in the May-June examinations. Wesley says the results demonstrate that students can excel when learning is assessed in focused and achievable stages. CXC will now award the CTEC Mathematics Module 1 credential to about 35,000 candidates who sat CSEC Mathematics this year. Wesley says CTEC is designed to widen access to certification and encourage lifelong learning across the Caribbean. A mural at Tobago's Arthur N.R. Robinson International Airport is sparking debate over whether it amounts to political messaging. The mural carries the words, "The greatest little island on the planet," a slogan used by the Tobago People's Party during its campaign for the January Tobago House of Assembly election. Tourism Secretary Zarisha Hackett rejects comparisons with political slogans, saying the mural promotes Tobago and does not carry the TPP's name, colors, or symbols. Tobago Chamber of Commerce Chairman Curtis Williams says he has a 50-50 view of the issue, but believes Tobago has more pressing concerns. He says priorities should include paying service providers on time, improving airlift, addressing accommodation challenges, and strengthening the island's economy. Williams says those issues are more important than a slogan at the airport. Finally, U.S. President Donald Trump says there are no talks planned with Iran, despite ongoing efforts by Oman and Iran to reach a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Trump insists the waterway remains open and operating, but shipping traffic has dropped significantly, with only 3 vessels recorded crossing on Sunday. An unidentified projectile also struck a ship in the strait near Oman, damaging its engine room and causing a crew casualty. Iran says the waterway will not fully reopen until the United States meets its conditions. Meanwhile, Iran-backed Houthi rebels claim they launched drones at an oil refinery in Saudi Arabia. There are no immediate reports of damage. Egypt says an agreement between Iran and Oman could help pave the way for renewed U.S.-Iran negotiations. And that is NETT Radio News at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Vibes, fresh energy. This is the NETT Radio Breakfast Show.
locked into NETT Radio Breakfast Show. Fueling your day with the best music and real talk.
Taking you back to 1990, it was 1993. Exodus, Dust in Your Face. And I know most people thought that was a Panorama winning song, you know. They didn't win actually with that year, you know. But they won the Panorama the year before. But a remarkable performance there that year where Exodus, Pelham got it. Good morning to Pelham. Hey everybody, welcome inside the breakfast show, the second hour here on NETT Radio. As you're getting ready for pan and powder. Yeah, you know we love the thing, all right? The breakfast show Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Wendell Stephen, Richard Rakobaris, and of course yours truly, Sir Charles. We just have a fun time with you and you have a fun time with us, right? Good morning to all our early risers. Good morning to everybody on Gaia Caribbean TV. Thanks for being here. Remember, when you don't get us on Gaia or you don't get us on the social media platform for the talk shows, you can come across to netradiott.com. That way you listen to us all day, every day, because we stream all day, every day. So that's just something for you to look forward to, right? Remember, like, subscribe, follow all our channels, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and of course our WhatsApp channel. All you have to look for is NETT Radio Trinidad, and you will find us. Also, any one of the streaming platforms, so whether you're streaming on MyTuner, Radio Garden, Online Radio Box, Simple Radio, or TuneIn, it's NETT Radio Trinidad. You can give all your Google smart devices that command, Alexa, whoever it is, you know, play NETT Radio Trinidad or play NETT Radio Trinidad, and you're sure to get us, right? Also, don't forget to go to our website and our social media pages where you can donate to support the platform. So, a morning poll. And we did contextualize it for you guys. Are you concerned about the response from the Minister or the Ministry of Homeland Security, it is the Minister, regarding the missing Commissioner of Police? So if you're concerned by the statement, you're voting 1. If you're not concerned, I could care less, you're voting 2, right? And when we come back, we'll tell you how we have voted. Also coming up at around 7:30 in our Let's Talk segment, we should be talking with Mariano Brown. So that is interesting conversation. So that's just something else added for you to look forward to today, all right? And then after 8 o'clock, we're talking with the folks from Pavi. And as I say, Pavi, let me see if I can find that very quickly for you, because they have something coming up that we, you know, it's a health fair, and you can, where is it? Oh. All right, I'll get it for you and come back, all right? But stay with us on the breakfast show this morning. We're coming back.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
Flavor Entertainment Services, your one-stop premium entertainment service provider. We offer top-tier, best-in-class karaoke and DJ services for your private events, sports bars, and lounge. Let us help make your birthday parties, weddings, anniversaries, and corporate special events memorable and special. Call us now at 462-2029. We provide more than just music. We create memories that last.
What do we all want for Trinidad and Tobago? Safer communities, greater opportunities, and a better future. Join Denise Deming every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio for Common Ground TNT. Each week, respected guests tackle the issues affecting our nation, from crime and education to healthcare, the economy, and good governance. Common Ground TNT, finding solutions through conversation. Tuesdays at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio, NETT Radio.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
All right, everybody. So we welcome you back to the breakfast show. And I have to let you know that persons associated with visual impairment, which is PAVI, they're having their Check Your Eyes. It's a community outreach program on the 22nd of August. It starts at 10 a.m. It goes until 2 p.m. at the St. Augustine South Community Center. That's at Freeman Road in St. Augustine. Come learn about PAVI's eye care and eye health, adjustment to blindness, and free eye screening for all. So come out in your numbers, and remember that's happening August 22nd, which is this Saturday at the St. Augustine South Community Center. If you're looking for more information about that, you can call 220-1073. That's 220-1073 or 762-5261. 762-5261. And of course, we will be talking with the folks from PAVI just after the 8 o'clock news. Okay, to talk about that clinic that they have coming up. Right, so we are back, Wendell.
Yes, we are back.
Want to get some more coffee?
No. I just relaxed it. I was just reading a little piece of Bacchanal coming out of San Fernando East constituency there. Lord, politics. You know, I always say PNM loses elections because of their arrogance. UNC loses because of their corruption. But the UNC politicians going down that arrogant road now, I don't understand them. UNC has not been known to have arrogant people, but now everybody like just getting arrogant now in the politics. I don't know what's going on. You know, they better watch themselves. Anyway, I see you slipping in Exodus there, right? You ain't easy.
I ain't slipping Exodus. I deliberately tell all I'm playing Exodus today. I ain't slipping all a big thing in common. All invite Exodus. Yeah, what about all you?
I'm sure they will. You know, Exodus always present in stuff in Port of Spain, but I don't know what's going on. You know, I'm not even sure if Pan and the Avenue is coming out because they're having some issues. They've been approaching people and not getting help. You know, I don't know what's going on with anyway. Let me leave that for now, right? But I'm waiting to see what happens out of Pan and the Avenue. Of course, I'm a huge supporter of Pan, and I'm a supporter of Pan and the Avenue. So I hope the Garcia family get through with that largely successful event that they've been having on a yearly basis. You know, I really hope that they get the help that they need to make that event the continued success it has been, right? But we have lots of votes coming in on our poll. Of course, our poll is, are you concerned about the response from the Minister of Homeland Security regarding the missing Commissioner of Police. And Richard actually gave the man the press conference the word he should have used. Just come and say, listen, the commissioner had an emergency that he had to leave suddenly. We didn't have parliament. Parliament wasn't convened. So the most senior officer, Mr. Benjamin, would do what he has done before, because he has done it before, and run the police service. All he had to say was that, and that done there. You know. That done there. You know.
And that is it. That's all that it took. And all this thing, I don't know. Sometimes I feel politicians, they know what they should do where the public is concerned. But you know what? No, don't put that outside there.
They get too arrogant, Sir Charles.
No, they keep that just in case we need a bacchanal to change the conversation. Because, you know, politicians are very good at that. Yeah.
I think they were hoping. And in this day and age of politics, you can't hope that the opposition ain't going to find out something. Yeah. A commissioner of police can't just disappear. And he has been missing in action for a little while now. It ain't only recently.
Yeah, it's not last week you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, and that is the thing. It's how long that he has been gone. So let us say he has been gone for about a month so far. You know, the public needs to know where the commissioner
and is
of police.
There more to it? Because I saw a post where somebody saying there's more to it than him just leaving it. Him just missing in action. Of course, people are going to start to speculate now.
Of course, people start to say all kind of things.
Yeah.
So to alleviate that, just do a proper. All I have so much communication specialists in this place.
Yeah.
Look, Richard, you show all the communication
in that kind of position where he had to be answering questions.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have to be answering that.
No. Yeah. You know, do the thing and just do it the way that it should be done. All right, but let's take a couple calls because we're expecting Mr. Brown, right, Wendell?
Yes, well, I think he read the message, so I'll tell him today because he did offer today or tomorrow. You know what I mean? So,
right,
maybe
so
I'm sure you'll find out when he joins, right?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that he does. All right, so we can take a couple of your calls on the poll this morning, 281131529951556. Caller, good morning.
A blessed good morning to you, Sir Charles, Richard, and Wendell. It's not the matter that the people want to unmark your business or know your business, Commissioner. It's the thing about it. If you leave in office, remember the post that you hold, just like the PM. If you know you're leaving, vacating post for a time, whatever emergency you have, because anybody can have an emergency. You understand? It's just manners make it man. Just come out.
But it's not the commissioner we calling on to say something, you know. We're not blaming the commissioner for this, you know.
No, but what I'm saying, sir, is that the question that you all put on the post is just that it's not a blame game, you know. It's just that manners make it man. You just could I just say, here going on, the commissioner will be out, somebody will be holding the rem, or whoever next in line automatically will hold the rem. If the commissioner not there, like the Prime Minister, she not there, she let Miss Jolene John come and hold her post until she returns. Simple and easy.
That is
Mickey Mouse kind of thing. Like I don't know what all the secret order is about. I just don't know. But I just always say, what in the dark will come to light. If it had to take now or after election, it will come to light.
Yeah, okay.
It's nothing surprising at all. Nothing is like something more than the cocoa in the sun.
Okay, no problem. Thanks very much, Suzanne. Thank you very much. 281131529951556. We're taking a couple of your calls now because we're expecting to hook up with our guests in a little bit. So please take the opportunity to call us now, just in case, right? Just in case. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Sir Charles, Wendell, and Richard.
Hey, morning, Zena.
Morning, Zena.
Yeah, coming on now.
Yeah.
Can't talk much. I just want to say, you see all what going on there and all what I feeling just like Wendell. You see that certain names you just don't want to hear what they have to say and don't bother with what they say. That's just how I feeling right now. So I didn't even bother to vote because right now I neither here nor there, just in cater for I am business. They could do what they want and the Prime Minister could say it, like how she could tell the nation what she could tell them for when Rowley they go away sometime. that he could fly away. Remember that? Huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
yes.
okay. Some of them could just do the same thing.
All right. No, but
time.
yeah, and you take care of yourself, Zena. Please take care of yourself. Yeah. Good morning, Captain.
Gentlemen, good morning. Happy hump day. Yes, guys. Listen to you guys here, but first of all, let's address this thing with it. As the lady previous caller said, it's a simple matter. Manners, my father said, manners make man. Grandfather used to tell us that. All it is, they got the commission, Mr. Alexander had to come in and say, well, the other family is you and you took leave of absence. Simple mathematics. It's like 1 and 1 plus 2, So I don't understand why he have to go so far and create. According to Sir Charles, it's obviously they're trying to hide something. So he's creating something else to do in the right hand. Don't look at my left hand. That's really happened, But that's how it goes. But I want to say this. I heard the other guy called earlier before the news, and he said about the racket with the Cuban doctors. Now listen, right? I've been on this line here too long to realize when people want asylum, they say anything to favor to go against the government they're coming from to give something to the government, this government to throw back. We talk about doctors and racket and stuff, but they don't talk about the NGOs that leave this country, the spies that leave us NGOs to go into other people's country, infiltrate them, and destabilize the countries around the world, particularly Africa. That's what we need to talk about. The NGOs, the US NGOs and the European NGOs that goes there as people they're going to help, and what they're doing, they're spying and they're making ways for them to bring in ammunition to do all kinds of wrong things and destabilize the government. That's what we need to look at. So when you talk about doctors with racket, no, I don't buy that. I am a person like this, right? I believe in like my grandfather taught us. If you say you love me and you can't tell me I'm wrong, you don't love me. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Guys, have a good day.
Thanks very much, Captain. If you say you love me and I can't tell you you're wrong. Some people you can't tell them you're wrong. What do you hear that now? Love or no love?
Next thing the commissioner say, listen, you're setting me up too much. Yes, I fed up on this legs. I gone. Don't call me.
Wendell, let's close off the poll there.
Yes, of course. Our poll this morning was, are you concerned about the response from the Minister of Homeland Security regarding the missing Commissioner of Police? 86% of you said yes, you are concerned about his response, not that he could help it. And 14 of you said no, you're not concerned. You understand? Some people are saying they're not concerned because of, they're not concerned. I read some of the comments on the chat, and I agree with them. The ones who are not concerned. Because when I saw it, I said, what is this? Well, you could tell people what you don't even know where your child is, but you're concerned about where the commissioner is. How you could tell people that? That's a response from a minister, and we okay with that? Oh.
All right, people. So let's see if we can get into our Let's Talk segment.
Oh, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Morning, Mr. Mariano Brown. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
How are you?
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you. We're hearing you and seeing you.
Okay, good. All right, thank you.
All right, great. Thanks for joining us once again, Mariano, at such short notice. You've never failed us.
Well, thank you for that.
All right.
Failed.
Appreciate. Of course, we want to talk some issues. I would have sent you some headlines that I got in terms of some major state and quasi-state enterprises that are showing significant drops in their profit margin. Let's start from there. Is that a concern? One is Bryden profits drop to US 278. NFM profit slips to 2.6. Angostura profit revenue falls in the first half. And Amplia, of course, has now been sending home, is now given termination notices to 150 employees. Are those things cause for concern, Marianne?
Well, I think it's a reflection. It is cause for some concern. It tells us that the economy isn't doing as well as we think. And I think more importantly, if you want a bellwether, you should look at Kentucky, KFC, Prestige Holdings. And they had some declines in their sales as well. And that tells us the three ways to measure national income, either total to labor, on the employment side, on the production side. So if you look at it from the point of view of sales, on it, more or less on the production side, you will see that it represents, it suggests that there's some decline. That's the first point. If the second measure, if you have to follow, is how government's revenue or expenditure is taking place. And the two things to look at are not so much the wage negotiations, but the threats to take action. When you join them up and you list them, they are all arguments or discussions with regard to the non-payment of agreed salaries from the last go-round and or the payment of back pay. Now, I would suggest once again that government's income is under pressure. Certainly its cash flow is. So those are the two considerations, and those would lead to a suggestion that the economy is either not growing or alternatively a low rate of growth, or there's some element of a recession. Right. So those are the sort of overview indicators that you would want to get at, and I think that's what they suggest. Now, the rate of growth projected by the IMF and by the minister was that it will be positive this year. The numbers would suggest at this stage that positive is likely to be a negative, right, or a very low positive number, less than 1%. I mean, at 0.8%, it was already low. So it's pretty close to zero to me. I mean, that's what we're looking at, if not negative.
Now, Mariano, I remember Dr. Rowley, when he was Prime Minister, had warned that we will in fact go through some difficult times, and we should see some light at the end of the tunnel. Those are my words. Sometime in 2027. Is it that we are witnessing here, even though that the government has changed?
The answer to that is yes. There's no change. Because you change the government, you haven't changed the economic outlook. You change the people who tell you about the economic outlook. The business factors haven't changed. The fundamental issue is that 85% of our foreign exchange is driven by the energy sector, in particular natural gas. We know that the contribution that comes from the downstream, i.e. the petrochemicals, is higher than the amount that accrues to the economy from Atlantic LNG. So 2 points to go with. What do we know? We know that 50% of the plants are idle. Big ones includes metals, nutrients. We know that the contract which is according to the program, great fans there.
I don't know what's happening there.
Sorry?
No, we started to hear you a bit garbled or in the distance.
But I was getting the same thing from you.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it's some causing that then.
Yeah.
But you're sounding pretty better now, so go ahead. I think as you project a little bit.
All right, so the point I'm making is that the agreement with Proman in May, which was hailed as a breakthrough, the agreement with Proman is to supply gas only to December. So it's not a good signal. So the reality is that a lot depends on natural gas, and the 2027 is looked at as a turnaround because that of Manatee coming on stream. Manatee is expected to come on stream somewhere between the second and third quarter of 2027. Now that will mean that it's not going to affect government's books or revenue cycle until probably the period 27, 28. The second quarter will be the quarter ending June, and the third quarter is the quarter ending September. Now that's in the second half of the financial year. So no financial returns will accrue to the company immediately. And to accrue to the country, sorry, not to the company. No financial returns will accrue to the country immediately. Why? Because I suspect there's some accelerated allowances which fall in that spectrum, so that the numbers would look better at GDP level, but it does not necessarily mean that government's figures, i.e. government's revenue, will look a lot better. The other positive news is that statements that have been made is that we have a phase 1 and a phase 2 of LORAN, and it's expected that that gas will come to Trinidad and Tobago. Now, the way that the agreement between government and the partners of Atlantic LNG, the unitization agreement which joined the two companies, would suggest that they're going to go into what is known as a tolling arrangement. What is a tolling arrangement? A tolling arrangement is when you supply gas and I provide the factory or chemical capacity, and you pay me for processing the gas. It's my gas, and what comes out at the other end of it is mine as well. Right? And Delcy Rodriguez has been talking about making Venezuela a major exporter of gas. So it sounds as though they're going to use the LNG's facilities. That gives it throughput. But the throughput for processing somebody else. If I, for example, have a factory and I can buy all the inputs and make it myself, that means I have a larger perspective or larger profit margin. If I'm doing it on behalf of somebody else, it means I'm charging them a fee. And my profit margin is going to be a lot less, and therefore a lot less will accrue to the country. That's exactly the position that's exactly what is suggested by the agreements and what has been said around the agreements. Now, those agreements have not been available for public scrutiny, but they do suggest, whilst it may be useful to continue and to keep the volume throughput at the LNG high, it does not necessarily mean that the gas that is coming from Venezuela on the LORAN side is going to accrue to our petrochemicals. So there's a lot of mistiness at the moment in terms of exactly what are the specifics. So there's still some issues. The horizon may not be all that clear and be all that rosy. It means that we may have more gas, there's more throughput, there's activity, and therefore there's some cash flow, but not necessarily the same amount of profit. And remember that government gets, how shall I put it, its revenue from taxation on income.
Yeah.
So if the throughput, there's less income, then there's less taxation. That does not mean that government is doing as well as it would be. So you have to say that the future is guarded.
Mariano, I don't know if you could talk to, good morning, by the way. I don't know if you could talk to the issue of the restarting of the iron and steel by some U.S. company, and they were, I think mentioning terms like vanadium or vanadium or something
Vanadium,
like that.
Vanadium.
Yep, and whether one, what is the benefit of that? Do you think that the iron and steel factory can be restarted and be economically viable and to the benefit of the country? And two, the data centers, because apparently they're moving ahead with the data centers, and whether you see that as any benefit also. I mean, of course, there are environmental issues that have been raised, which the government seems to be ignoring or have not really articulated clearly what the plan is to address those environmental issues. What's your take on those two issues?
You can look at them from 3 points of view. The first one is that any increase in economic activity helps push the economy forward. The second way you would have to look at is what is the net value and the net benefit that accrues to Trinidad and Tobago. Problem with all of those projects is one, they're capital intensive, and two, they're foreign direct capital intensive. So what accrues to Trinidad and Tobago is actually very small. What you get is the benefit of throughput, you get the benefit of activity and some spin-offs. And that's less strong. Let's say, for example, a company like Clico, right? I'm just using Clico as the example. In terms of Clico Energy, that would have accrued to Trinidad and Tobago's benefit in a much more significant way because you're using local gas, right? And your margins would have accrued, the profitability would have accrued to Trinidad and Tobago. Now, if I'm a foreign company, right, so it means I have to pay, the fundamental issue with regard to foreign direct investment is I have to pay for foreign capital. So there are margins, right? And that moves outside. So the net benefit to the economy is really what we're interested in. Now, and all of those projects are high capital intensity, which means that the ratio of the amount of capital you spend per job created is high, right? So we're talking about $350 million US, and you're creating 500 jobs. Well, that's a lot of money to create one job. And at the end of the day, it's sharply dependent on what takes place in that particular area. Now we get to the environmental and other issues. They are big picture. Those are big picture problems, because it throws all of your commitments to COP and climate change. All of those commitments go through the window. You're failing on all counts, right? So it requires a mix in terms of what investment takes place. And quite frankly, you need a lot more domestic capital than you need foreign capital. Now, those are the three broad issues. From a government perspective, you're looking at anything that you could point to that generates jobs and say that it helps increase GDP. But from an economic point of view, if you're looking for the net benefit to the country, you're looking for a much broader base activity taking place. The data centers come with issues, and those data center issues will sort themselves out over time from a technology point of view. But at the current state point in time, they require, and a steel company, they require two things that puts our system under pressure: energy and water. Those are two high users. In fact, most people don't know the Caroni Arena dam project was undertaken, if you want to notice, simultaneously with the development of Point Lisas. And the reason for that was very straightforward. If you have big plants, they need to be cooled, and those generate heat, and the heat needs to be managed, dissipated. And you do that by keeping them cool. You have to have insulation systems. In one case, they use a mix of fresh water and seawater, but most of the plants use fresh water. And that's why the desalination plant was built and is sited at Point Lisas. The idea being that you use desalinated water because it's more expensive than normally produced well water, groundwater, and that the energy sector companies will be large enough to be able to pay for it, right? Because in a sense, you're paying for it, and that's one of the reasons why it's denominated in the US. The desalination company was never intended to produce water for Trinidad and Tobago. It was intended to produce water for the Point Lisas plants, which needed to be cooled. Right? They ended up producing more desalinated water for us because we were never repaired, we never fixed our water system properly. So that's how we ended up buying water, and the arrangements were a little to put water in front rather than to allow DesalCo to deal with the energy sector companies directly. Created some problems for our water distribution system. So that's where we're at. So we're talking about, in the case of you go water, in terms of keeping those things cool, because they generate a significant amount of heat. That's why I said you're blowing your commitments to COP, the climate control agenda. And on the second issue, this is electricity. Now, there was a time that Trinidad and Tobago used to experience brownouts. All right, means that there would be low. If you want your lights would flash and blink because the system would undergo a surge, or in fact a drain. And that's what anytime you turn on one of the big plants, that's what happened. Now, when you turn on a steel plant, what matters is that initial surge. You're bringing it up or you're bringing it down. and that puts pressure on your distribution system, and it puts pressure on your power generating system. Now, your power generating system also has to do with pricing, because you will notice that TNTech, the last numbers I saw for TNTech, which went to Parliament, were 2021. Now, 5 years later, TNTech loss is probably a lot higher, right? But at the time, TNTech was losing about $1.5 billion, which means that the electricity rates are too low. And those plants use electricity, they use power, right? That power generation is a critical issue. So you have to ensure that the rates that you're charging for a steel plant and for any data center are adequately matched. Otherwise, what you're doing is subsidizing the data center and subsidizing the steel company. And we wouldn't want that now, would we? All that does it means that taxpayers are basically paying money to keep the steel company here and to keep the data center here. I don't think that's what we're looking forward to. So those
Do we have the capacity? Do we have the capacity and the grid for that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It requires, we have the running capacity, right? What matters is the delta effect, the change. When I turn it on, right, whether I can deal with the surge. Remember, we had a problem in terms of distribution. We had one line running from 7th from the TGU plant in La Brea, and we had the countries had a difficulty, and all the power plants failed for something like 10 hours. It took about 12 hours to get everybody back up and running. Right now, those are the significant issues. If the company is losing money, TNTech is losing money, has it had the money to invest in distribution capacity to basically take care of those things? That's one of the critical issues moving forward, distribution capacity. It sounds as though we have installed plant capacity, but you could have, for example, you could have water up the road, but if I don't have a pipeline to carry it to me in somewhere else, La Brea, water up the road is no good to me. So you may have installed plant capacity. What matters is the distribution, and that requires some investment.
Yeah.
So those are some critical issues. Those are some backbone issues.
Yeah. Now, in the last budget, a lot of increases were promised in terms of, budgeted for, in terms of the nurses, the WASA workers, the public servants and so on. And they've not received it as yet. Is that an indication that the government just simply has no money to deal with it?
Yes.
You answer me like sometimes I always answer people,
well, yes. if you're green, you can't pay, and everybody waiting, right? The good thing about it is they got all unions on side, right? You even have Felicia Thomas on TV saying promises made, promises kept, right? So if the unions are aligned with government, you make a big fuss at WASA, and next thing you know, the minister show up and the minister say he's going to talk to the Minister of Finance. Well, any concept of, if you want, third party or negotiations just disappeared. Just call the minister will fix everything, right? So, and quite clearly, that's the promise that's made. We have connections, and we got the minister come. They're there, we're demonstrating that we did something, right? No, I'm pretty certain the money is not going to come. I think that's clear, right? The figures that for example, the Minister of Finance has never given a figure with the size of the back pay that has to be paid. Right? They gave an initial estimate in terms of 3 or 4 unions, which amounted to $6.8 billion.
Billion, yes.
Right? Billion. Now, they said they paid to one union, we said they paid 10% or whatever it was, an immediate payment, which was done before December, to give some immediate cash flow. Well, we didn't deal with the rest. 10% of that means that 90% is still outstanding, right? That means about $6 billion, right? And then you have the impact, the direct impact in terms of on your expenditure of adjusting the salaries upwards. Now that's in respect of the period ending 2019. There's a period 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. That's another 6 years. What are we talking about? Right? The idea ought to have been, get rid of the whole thing immediately, right? So that we can now negotiate. We can't negotiate productivity nowhere. So that's one of the fundamental issues that we're talking about. All we're negotiating here is about, if you want, some sort of settlement that meets inflation and the inflationary impact. But that's it, right? So we haven't dealt with the fundamental issue of productivity. How well are we performing moving forward? And that's one of the critical issues that Trinidad and Tobago faces. If you have to come, we are in competition with every other economy in the world. Right? The reality is that we have to be able to do things and measure things at current prices, not be measuring it today, and you make a decision 2 years from now, which is going to throw rubbish all the numbers that we had before. Right? We're not clear about what we do moving forward. I mean, business is about planning, and planning means that you have to get your cost right. Even for a government, you have to get your cost right and understanding what I have to do. And it's about how many people I'm going to employ. You know, those are the hard facts. Right? Now, when you look at the situation in Barbados, when they had to face it, what happened? How many people from the public sector eventually went on? Those are the real meat and potato issues that we're talking about here. They're not putting that on the table. We'll keep everything going and we keep everything all right. The answer is if you don't have the revenue to do it and you're agreeing increases and you can't pay it, where are we going to go? What's going to happen eventually? Somebody's going to get annoyed. And that's going to lead to...
Is it that they're operating on hope that this gas and oil, the gas that was coming into the system will eventually reduce the deficit, because you're going to have to go into deficit financing to meet those obligations, obviously.
All right.
And I'm wondering also, and let's call it from a hope perspective. ExxonMobil, of course, is now about to complete, I think, their 3D seismic data exploration in the block that they have, which is a huge, I think it's like 8,000 square kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
And they're about to complete that. So we don't know what they're going to find or whether it's going to, yield whatever it's going to yield. But is it that the government is banking on things like that?
But clearly, you could bank on it, you could expect it, you could want it to happen. That doesn't mean it is going to happen. If you look at the budget review, the minister's numbers have been clearly calibrated to give a deficit which is under 5%. And to do so, by doing that, he is playing to the multinational rating agencies. Because the multinational agencies made it abundantly clear that if government did not address its deficit, that the outlook would change. When the outlook is it stable? It's negative. The outlook is negative, right? But we would continue to keep your rating as is. But if you don't make adjustments moving forward, your rating could change, and if the rating changes, then your borrowing capacity also changes. There was a time, for example, in the case of Barbados, not too far away, before they went into the IMF program, they announced that they were going to borrow X amount. Well, they went to New York and nobody listened to them. They came back home with no money and no hope of raising it either. So they ended up in the hands of the IMF. All right, now the reality is our debt to GDP ratio is, by the minister's own calculation, is somewhere between 85 and 89%, which is above the recorded maximum, or the estimated maximum of what you should be to avoid trouble, which is between 60 and 70%. Right, so we're well above that. So we're going to be difficulties. The debt that we borrowed, the 1.8 billion that we borrowed from this year, the majority of it was to repay debt. In other words, we're just rolling over the debt. I owe you money, a bullet payment comes up, I borrow money to pay the bullet. Right, that means I still owe it. It hasn't brought my debt down.
Yeah.
And what is happening in those two rollovers, some amount of it also went in the cash flow. We don't know how much, but the $1.8 billion, I think about $1.5 billion went to repay debtors, and another $300 million went, in a sense, to finance ongoing expenses. Right? But the change has been in the interest rate. The interest rate moved from 4.5%, because the market conditions are different, to a running yield of about 6.7, which means that you have a 50% increase in interest costs, which means your debt service ratio has gone up. You spread it out over time, but your interest costs have gone up. So we're in a difficult position. And the difficult position means that the government has to speak some truth here, right? Trying to flub the figures by saying, well, revenue is going to come from this area, revenue is going to come from that area. the possibilities are that the revenue is not going to be as great as you require it to fill the holes and gaps that you have. And that's what we're seeing. Now, I had made this point several times on this radio before, and you all looked at me as with some degree of astoundment as to what was going to happen. I think the reality is hitting us now.
No, well, we on this program, we face those realities because of, that's why we invite you, and that's why we want your opinion. we faced reality long time, because you're confirming again today that we can't expect any change in our situation for another 16 months or so.
16 months? But you're brave. 16? I think that short, that time frame is far too short.
But I go until the end of 2027. From now till the end of 2027.
No. If you look at what in the case of, if you look at Manatee, the gas was found in 1983, 1983 we're talking about. We are now getting to the stage in 2027 where we're going to get in first gas. The gas is not going to come in, and you have to remember, right, there are allowances which are going to be had for the amount of capital expenditure the companies have made. If they have accelerated write-offs, and I think they do, right, then you're not likely to see any of that gas coming into your national coffers in the way that people are estimating. It will take at least 18 months for that to take place. Now, when the plant starts up, or when they start to increase the flow of gas, that doesn't mean to say they're going to be producing at all 600 million cubic feet a day. They will start it up and ramp it up gradually until equipment gets worked in and the routine is fully developed. It's not going to start from day one. We're going to produce 600 million cubic feet. So that creates the graduality, if you want, the gradualness between which the cash is going to come and against which those allowances are going to be set off. So in the early period, you're likely to find that government's revenue is not going to move very much. All right. So, we have some balancing issues here. All right. And that's one of the reasons that the government has quietly gone into the Heritage and Stabilization Fund without making any fuss, without saying too much of a fuss and announcing it. All right. So we knew the last go round was about, certainly within the currency of this financial is about $500 million US. Right. So that's at least $3 billion. And that is telling you the extent of the shortfall. Yeah. Right. Government just does not have the revenue to undertake the promises that they're making. And any kind of projections that are coming up have some real issues that they're not going to put any meat on the table today. You're going to have to wait some time. Revamping a steel mill that has been down for 8-10 years is just like revamping a refinery that has been down for 8-10 years, right? There's a lot of establishment that has to take place before you flip a switch. You don't want it to blow up. So you have to make certain that all those connecting pieces are working.
Yeah. Right? But before we end it, but Mariano, before we end the interview, because we're close to our news time now, and in fact we're past it, the issue, what I wanted to raise, because this government is on a timeline, right? Politicians are always on a timeline in terms of that 5-year timeline to win the next election. And you're already into your second year, which will end, of course, you're some months away from the end of your second year, and then you're going to have 3 years left. So they're going to want to have results within that 3 years to persuade the electorate, of course, to re-elect them. Now, they've also touted their revitalization projects via Jillian John in terms of all of these major projects that they're going to embark on with foreign direct investment. Are those projects, in your mind, feasible in bringing some sort of economic activity, and can the government accomplish them?
Foreign direct investment always requires you to pay the foreign direct investor, right? So you bring them in. It's not patient capital. They're looking for results. I don't think that any of the projects you're talking about are going to make a difference because the gestation period is just too long. Right? The execution period is also too long. So you're not going to see those projects come on stream until even if some of them do, they're not going to be coming on stream until the end of the 5-year period. 5 years is just too short to put those things in positions. But you can't you have to give the public some idea of some positive things. Governments that don't give positive news, and that's the lesson of the NER government. If you don't speak properly, we'll fire you, right? And the end of the day, they did fire them from 33 to 2, right? They went from 33 seats to 2 seats, right? And so there are a lot of issues here, and quite frankly, I don't think that we hearing the real impact is a lot more negative than some of the statements that are being made by the ministers. So I don't see it taking place beyond. You may get some impact in year 5, but I would have some difficulty seeing it work.
Yeah. So the question I guess a lot of people still ask Mariano: will we be going to the IMF? Will we see a devaluation? A lot of people are concerned about those two issues.
Well, I mean, we might not see it in the numbers, but it is already here. I mean, if there's a black market rate that's trading between 8 and 8.50, which is what it is, right? We are really seeing that the exchange rate is out to sea, right? And that it has not yet been recognized by the official system, but it has been recognized by the informal system. So I think that's on the cards. I don't see a devaluation per se. The government doesn't have to do anything. The central bank has to make a decision, or the government has to allow the central bank to float the rate. There's no way you're going to get around that.
And my last question is, what hope do you have for our future, Mark?
Well, I think there's always hope. But the point is that remember, we go back to the issue of productivity, right? What we may have been accustomed to during the period for the 1999 to whatever period is not here anymore. We're going to have to work harder. We're going to have to work longer to make the same amount of money. That's the reality. And that goes for everybody in the country. There are no exceptions to this.
Yeah. Well, I've been telling people that a little while now, but I'm happy.
And to be frank, it really doesn't matter who is in government. That's the objective reality.
Yeah. That is true. Anyway, guys, anything else for Mariano?
No, I think that's
I
it.
know we have to go to news at this point, so yeah.
All right, well,
So thank you, Mariano.
Okay, all right, bye-bye.
Mr. Brown, thank you again. Of course, that was Mariano Brown saying it like how he's always said it. You know what I mean? Those are the realities that we have to face. If you know anyone who needs to get a reality check, advise them to watch over the show later on today. All right? We go into the news, and when we come back, we'll entertain your calls a little bit. Richard, I was to tease you before we go to the news. There was a lady who messaged earlier in the chat, said she saw you in an episode of Westwood Park or something so, and you were so cute. What went wrong?
I don't know. That's a delirious person. That's somebody who didn't take their tablets this morning. And I understand we have a lot of people who have to take tablets in the morning, and some of them didn't take it. So
yeah. So people stay with us. We're going for the news and come back.
Oh, God.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is NETT Radio News Now.
This is News Now on NETT Radio and Guile TV. I am Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. Commissioner of Police Alistair Quavaro did not breach protocol when he left Trinidad and Tobago last week. Senior government officials say Quavaro applied to the Police Service Commission for emergency leave and was granted permission to leave the country. Officials have not disclosed when he left or when he is expected to return. In his absence, Deputy Commissioner of Police Administration Junior Benjamin has assumed responsibility for the police service, although he has not received an official instrument appointing him acting commissioner. Benjamin says the TTPS is not leaderless and continues to carry out its mandate, including operations under the state of emergency. Officials say a formal acting appointment could not be made because Parliament is currently in recess. Quavaro and Police Service Commission Chairman Dr. Wendell Wallace have not responded to requests for comment. Steelworkers Union President Timothy Bailey says former steelworkers must be included in plans to restart the Point Lisa steel plant. Bailey says the union feels it has been frozen out of the process, despite representing workers at the facility for about 4 decades. Government and Pinnacle Steel and Vanadium Corporation announced plans last week to restart the former ArcelorMittal plant, with an estimated investment of $750 million and about 500 permanent jobs expected. Bailey says the union welcomes the investment and the return of steel production, but insists the reopening cannot come at the expense of the workers who built the industry. He is calling on government and the new owners to engage the union and former workers and respect their rights to representation and collective bargaining. Bailey says many former workers remain willing to return to the facility. Communication Workers Union Secretary General Joanne Ogier is calling on trade unions to put political loyalties aside and unite in defense of workers. Ogier says workers are facing job losses, rising living costs, and increasing economic pressure, regardless of whether they support the PNM or UNC. She says unions must remember their responsibility to workers and break what she describes as a silence within sections of the labor movement. Ogier also expressed solidarity with Public Services Association President Felicia Thomas and WASA workers involved in an ongoing dispute with government. She says the CWU expects to face increased pressure because it remained politically independent during the general election campaign. Ogier says the current situation is a critical test of trade union unity. The Caribbean Examinations Council has launched the Caribbean Targeted Education Certificate, or CTEC, describing it as a game changer for regional education. CXC Registrar and CEO Dr. Wayne Wesley says the program allows students to complete subjects through focused modules, earning credentials step by step without lowering examination standards. He says the pilot mathematics module was highly successful, with 88% of the 2,535 candidates earning acceptable grades in the May-June examinations. Wesley says the results demonstrate that students can excel when learning is assessed in focused and achievable stages. CXC will now award the CTEC Mathematics Module 1 credential to about 35,000 candidates who sat CSEC Mathematics this year. Wesley says CTEC is designed to widen access to certification and encourage lifelong learning across the Caribbean. A mural at Tobago's Arthur N.R. Robinson International Airport is sparking debate over whether it amounts to political messaging. The mural carries the words, "The greatest little island on the planet," a slogan used by the Tobago People's Party during its campaign for the January Tobago House of Assembly election. Tourism Secretary Zarisha Hackett rejects comparisons with political slogans, saying the mural promotes Tobago and does not carry the TPP's name, colors, or symbols. Tobago Chamber of Commerce Chairman Curtis Williams says he has a 50-50 view of the issue, but believes Tobago has more pressing concerns. He says priorities should include paying service providers on time, improving airlift, addressing accommodation challenges, and strengthening the island's economy. Williams says those issues are more important than a slogan at the airport. Finally, U.S. President Donald Trump says there are no talks planned with Iran, despite ongoing efforts by Oman and Iran to reach a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Trump insists the waterway remains open and operating, but shipping traffic has dropped significantly, with only 3 vessels recorded crossing on Sunday. An unidentified projectile also struck a ship in the strait near Oman, damaging its engine room and causing a crew casualty. Iran says the waterway will not fully reopen until the United States meets its conditions. Meanwhile, Iran-backed Houthi rebels claim they launched drones at an oil refinery in Saudi Arabia. There are no immediate reports of damage. Egypt says an agreement between Iran and Oman could help pave the way for renewed U.S.-Iran negotiations. And that is NETT Radio News at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rum Box. Drinking out of the box.
What do we all want for Trinidad and Tobago? Safer communities, greater opportunities, and a better future. Join Denise Deming every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio for Common Ground TNT. Each week, respected guests tackle the issues affecting our nation, from crime and education to healthcare, the economy, and good governance. Common Ground TNT, finding solutions through conversation. Tuesdays at 11 a.m. on NETT Radio, NETT Radio.
Flavor Entertainment Services, your one-stop premium entertainment service provider. We offer top-tier, best-in-class karaoke and DJ services for your private events, sports bars and lounge. Let us help make your birthday parties, weddings, anniversaries, and corporate special events memorable and special. Call us now at 462-2029. We provide more than just music. We create memories that last.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
Okay, everybody, and of course, welcome back. Woo! What a morning! What a morning! And time is really moving at a pace this morning. Yeah, but very interesting chat here with Mariano, I must say.
Always interesting talking with Mariano.
Yeah. You know what?
He spells it out exactly as it's supposed to be, and he has predicted all of what we're going through.
Yeah. So let's see if he continues to be the Nostradamus. Nostradamus, the man who predict the future, right? So
yeah,
let's see how it goes.
The only other person who has spelled it out as detailed as Mariano does it was Dr. Morgan Job in the past. You know?
Mm-hmm.
He had seen all the mess that we were heading into. You know? As a matter of fact, he had coined a favorite phrase, dung beetle paradise.
Yeah, dung beetle paradise. No doubt about that. But it is what it is. Anyhow, before the time races against us this morning, we have a guest joining us in between here. So let me see if I can get her on the inside. As persons associated with visual impairment, PAVI, they're having their Check Your Eyes. It's a community outreach program that's going to be happening on the 22nd of August. And it starts at 10 a.m. and goes until 2 p.m. So Wendell, make sure you go and check yourself out, right?
Yeah, I do my eye checks every now and then. But yeah, if I could get up there this weekend. Is this weekend? No.
Yeah, this weekend. This weekend. We say it's 22nd like a Royal Farm, but right there. So we're talking about the Adi St. Augustine South Community Center, right? In St. Augustine. That's Fremont Road in St. Augustine, right? So joining us in between here is the awareness officer at PAVI, Miss Janelle Finley. So Janelle, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, everyone. And thanks for having me on the platform, Sir Charles and Wendell. Oh my goodness, it's a pleasure to be here.
Morning, Miss Finley. Morning, Miss Finley. But I would imagine, I don't know how you all be keeping all the crowds from an event, something like this, because I mean, you all would have seen the reaction to the free cataract surgery the other day.
Yes.
Down at St. James. So I would imagine a lot of people are also going to take advantage of free eye testing and whatnot happening. So tell us a bit about what we can expect. on the 22nd?
Well, first of all, if you would permit me just to add a little context here to the conversation, just so that your listeners and viewers would know who is Pavi and how long, we've been doing what we've been doing. So, Pavi is a non-governmental organization, and we have been established since the 26th of October 1995. So I'm not going to do that much, right?
Yeah, but it's a long time. It's a long time.
1995 will make it 31. 31.
Right. Not going to do that much. So we've been around since then, and we have been doing, partnerships and collabs and stuff with other organizations. We are also recognized by the Ministry of Health and Ministry of the People and Social Development. And we have acquired membership status with the Caribbean Council for the Blind and Visually Impaired, commonly known as CCBVI. And we've been a part of them since 1996. So that's just a little backstory there of how long PAVI, Persons Associated with Visual Impairment, has been in existence. And I want to tell you now a little bit about what we offer, what we do. So we have our awareness programs where we get into consultations. We participate in consultations in different groupings, and we also are a part of workshops and things like that, seminars such as the one that we are going to be having on Saturday coming. We also offer adjustment to blindness programs where we have rehabilitation services. So, if you are just losing vision, or you know of someone who is just losing vision and they have no way, they think life stops, the world stops turning. When that happens, we are there to step in to say, no, 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 no. That is not it. It's not the end. We can show you how to continue to function as normally as possible. So we have our officers come out to you and sit and have a chat with you, counsel you as best as possible, even with your family members, relatives who are around you. So we teach you things like mobility skills. So you need to know how to get in and around your space. You may even want to make breakfast for yourself, and not depending on anyone to do such for you. So we offer these kinds of services. We teach
So you do house calls then?
Well, a certain extent, yes.
Okay.
Once you sign up with us and you become a client and so on, and we do our initial assessments, then that can be offered to you. Also, we show you, that you can still work as well, because some people think that, okay, so I'm losing vision, I have lost vision, and I just have to stay home. And no, we show you it's possible that you can still continue working, and you can do all of these things safely, and so we do that. And as well, we have the support groups that you can also join, and each one teach one, as I would like to say. So somebody's experience as to how they are coping can give you that encouragement, can give you that drive to say, hey, let me wake up and shake up, and not feel sorry for myself, or feeling any distressed way. So that all of that we do. So now coming on to our outreach seminar we would be having this Saturday. As Sergio mentioned, it would be at the South Community Center in St. Augustine. That's Freeman Road, right?
Well, I'm trying to figure out where that is, and I can't, in the context of St. Augustine. Where that'll be the north side or south side of St. Augustine?
I'm supposing with the south side, but for further information, persons can call our office at 220 1073 220 1073 for further information in terms of the directions, right? So let me give you a little bit on what would be happening on that day. So we would be having free. This word here is free.
Yeah, we love that word.
Well, our listeners love to hear that word. Repeat it.
Oh, yeah. We are well good with that word here. Free.
Free. Capital F, right? You put a
What?
capital F.
Yeah, once we hear free and give away, we good to go. Mhm.
Yes, so free eye screening. We would be having with us the Trinidad Eye Hospital. So we'd have a doctor there doing some, giving you some well-deserved information on eye care and eye health. Because, it's Sir Charles and Wendell, a simple thing just as sometimes we're going about the place and you feel something in the eyes and you tend to do this and put the hands to the eyes and rub and rub. You don't do that. Sometimes you may feel as though you're seeing little floaters in your vision field, or sometimes you may be seeing blurry and think, well, maybe it's just the sun or something else, and we tend to self-diagnose. And we want to tell you that that is not the attitude that you should adopt. Go and get it checked out. So come to us, call the office and we would organize for you to come and do some eye screening, eye testing, and see what's going on there. So that is what is going to be happening on that day. We'll also have the adjustment to blindness officers on site giving you a tip or two as to how you can interact with us as visually impaired persons, because sometimes the common man walks on the street and you may encounter a visually impaired person and you freeze. You don't know what to do. You don't know. You want to help genuinely, and you just don't know how to approach because you don't want to come across as being insensitive or anything like that, or doing it the incorrect way. So on Saturday, we are going to be showing you how you can make your approach to someone who is visually impaired and how you can assist. And I must put in here, Sir Charles and Wendell, that being visually impaired does not equal stupidity. It does not equal deafness.
Yes. Some people shout at you sometimes.
Yes. Right? So all of these things we'll be showing some clips on little common courtesies that you can use when you encounter us on the street or anywhere else. Something as important as how you should plate a visually impaired person's food on a plate. You give them the plate with the food is high up like that. All of that is food. And you don't tell them what is there. Sometimes you may have something that is wrapped, that is on the plate, and you don't tell them. So they are now trying to maneuver on the plate, and then of course there's a big mess all over the place, right? So it is noted that when you are plating food for a visually impaired person, you let them know, okay, the rice is at 6 o'clock, the meat is at 12 o'clock, if they have that idea of what a clock looks like, if they can, envision that in their minds, and so they would have a better idea. And you orient them on the plate, you take their hand with the utensil and you say, okay, the meat is here, even if you don't remember saying, okay, it's at 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock or whatever, but you still show them, you still orient them as to what is there on the plate. So all of that, doing sighted guide techniques, it is noted as well that visually impaired persons, if you are being guided by someone who is sighted, you are supposed to stay at least a half step or so behind the person so that you allow them to take just above your elbow here and you walk with them normal pace, right? You don't have to walk extremely slow because nothing is wrong with them in terms of mobility. They can do stairs. Some people tend to think that they can't do stairs. We can, right? So, and you let them know, okay, we're going up the stairs, we're going down. We have a wide step, a narrow step, and if you have to, for some reason, maneuver an area that is very narrow, then of course you let them know. And what you do is that you put your hand that they are holding just behind you so that they know to step even further behind you so that you're walking single file. So all these things are important when you're doing sighted guide technique. So all these things we would be showing you on the day as well.
Let me ask this question, Ms. Finley. Are people who are visually impaired or blind?
If they are
they required to use a cane? I'll tell you why I asked that. I observed a gentleman in St. James one time walking on the Western Main Road, and he didn't have a cane, but he was stepping. Clearly, you could tell that he had visual problems.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, he turned into the driveway that we have here, thinking he was going in a street. Clearly, he had issues. And I know I had to tell him that you're in the wrong place.
Right.
But are you required to use a cane at all times?
Yes, because you know what, Wendell, it would be for your own safety. It would be for your own safety because when persons see that cane, it says something. It says that I need assistance in some way or the other. So that if you need to cross, if you need to maneuver in traffic, persons can assist you. And it's also an aid for you to know what is directly in front of you. Because remember, if you're walking free-handedly, you don't know the environment.
Yes.
So you would not know what is ahead of you. And you also use it to shoreline against, the sidewalks and the sides of buildings. So yes, cane is important.
What I would like to ask out of that question that Wendell just asked there, in the world that we're in today, I was reading, a while back, some guy right on Independence Square, a visually impaired guy, thought somebody was coming to help him and they robbed the man. With the crime situation and the way how it is these days in Trinidad and Tobago, how do you all maneuver when somebody comes to help if you're not sure if it is they're really giving genuine help or if they're really trying to take advantage of you?
Sometimes that's a stiffy. It's kind of difficult, but I mean sometimes you can pick up on the person's vibe. I would suggest that you go with your judgment, your intuition. If your spirit tells you no,
Yeah.
it's okay to refuse and say no, it's okay, I'm okay.
Right.
It's okay to do that because sometimes persons can really disguise very, very well, right? But
Yes.
I mean, it's just like with anything else. It's a chance you're taking, and but you don't want to have persons who are visually impaired feeling, oh well, because of how it is now, I'm not gonna step out there. I'm not gonna get done what I have to do. So, as they say, just
Yeah.
be
Live your life.
cautious. Yeah, live your life. Be cautious. You're being careful, you're being cautious, but you are also depending on your vibes or your intuition, I would
Yeah.
say.
Well,
Yeah.
I would have raised it in the past, Janelle, also too. I think when we spoke with Mr. Stewart, Sir Charles,
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that's right.
about the state of our pavements. I mean,
Correct.
in terms of how our manhole covers missing,
Correct. Yeah.
the broken pavements. How do you navigate that? I sometimes I feel aggrieved at these kind of things, and I would have
Yeah.
spent
Yeah. Yeah.
years in city council, and I always
Correct.
used to be
Yes.
making noise about it.
Well, the thing is, we would hope that one day we wouldn't have to fight over things like that. But again, this is where the cane comes in. So you want to be, if especially if you know that you are traversing an area for the first time, you want to be extra careful. Make sure that your pathway in front of you, before you step, you ensure that okay, this is a safe area to walk. Let me see if I have to make how many paces to the left or the right, you know, and so that you want to avoid things like that, because we walk unconcerned sometimes, some of us, and you're walking and you next thing you know you're just down in a hole. Boop. You know, because you didn't take the time to really ensure first how sturdy this might be before I walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that has always bothered me, and we have
Yeah.
poor
And
infrastructure all over the country. Yeah?
not only that, Wendell and such as, but we have a way sometimes as drivers, and I say we, the drivers I'm referring to, that we like to park on the sidewalks. And we like to leave our vehicular doors opened. That's another thing. Or sometimes, I don't know where persons within the corporations and things like that, where they get these beautiful ideas of putting trees and things like that in the middle of the sidewalk. And
Yeah.
we have to deal with that, as well as utility poles and persons, and oh gosh, well, don't talk for vendors. That's another issue altogether. You know, so all of these things in the infrastructure we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
You know,
There's a
just
question on the chat here, Janelle. Sorry, Sir Charles. Let me just
go
ask
ahead.
this question for the person on the chat. Do visually impaired people actually experience an increased hearing ability? Do they hear better?
No. No, that that
That's
is a myth. That is a myth. That is a myth. What happens is that because one sense has gone down, quote unquote, you tend to rely on your hearing ability just a tad bit more. But it's not that, you know, you become Superwoman or Superman
yeah,
and
they
you
got super
have this
hearing all of a sudden.
increase. Yeah, no. It's not like that at all.
So we could still talk secrets around visually impaired people, and they wouldn't hear, right?
Try it now.
I just a joke.
You tried one that. I see what you come up with.
Yeah. But not the whole situation, because I mean I was coming through Port of Spain just the other day, and right by the Red House in that restoration area there, when I'm moving from one side, that's St. Vincent Street, to come across Abercrombie to go to Woodford Square, there's this pavement, and the pavement is lined with trees in the center of the pavement.
And that
Right
is
by-
exactly my point, Sir Charles.
Yeah.
That is exactly my point. So I think when these persons are thinking about doing things for the city and boroughs and things like that, they need to have consultation with the different groupings that it would affect, you know, the different communities. And oftentimes they don't do that because I don't know, I guess they tell themselves, well, they are in the minority, so what they think and say don't really
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
I
Everybody
just have
is
to say
important.
that.
Everybody's
Yeah,
important.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. So
Well,
all of these things we have to deal with.
right. So let me take you back to what's going to be happening on Saturday, because
Yes,
I don't
yes.
want to lose sight and focus of all of
Correct.
that. All right. So in a few minutes that we have, tell people what's going to be happening on Saturday, and let's let them come out to support it.
Yes. So please, people, we need the numbers. And we know that you want to get that information. We know that you want to get that FREE ice screening, right? We would also have members from the Diabetes Association there with us. We would also be having testimonies of persons who are indeed visually impaired, and they would be giving their backstories and so on. You would also be seeing equipment and technical aids that we do use to help us live a normal life, as best as possible there on display. If you also want to become a client of the organization, we would have persons there taking your information and so on. If you want to become a member as well, we would take care of that on that day as well. So just come prepared to have a lovely day with us, and grab as much information as you can, and feel free to check in with us. Remember, the office number is 220 1073, 220 1073, or you can WhatsApp us on 762 5261, 762 5261. So again, it is the Pavi's Eye Care Community Outreach Seminar going to be happening this Saturday at the South Community Center in St. Augustine on Freeman Road, and it starts from 10 a.m. and it goes all the way to 2 p.m. Yes?
Yeah.
So,
I just realized I asked you earlier on if it's on the south side or the north side, but it actually named St. Augustine South End.
yes!
I just realized that. That should have been the hint.
yeah. Hint, Wendell. Hint.
Yes, thank you so much, Miss Finley.
Yes.
Janelle, thank you so much for joining us on the net. We really appreciate it. Thanks for letting us know, and we wish you all success. You and Pavi and everybody with what's taking.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure being here.
Yes, thank you. I think your phone ringing a little Latin.
And everybody
a little Latin ringtone there.
I told them I'm on air. Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
And you see, his hearing is very acute. Eh?
Yes, I'm very good at hearing. I hear the La Bamba there.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Janelle.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Finley. It's been wonderful talking with you. Of course, that was Janelle Finley of Pavi. Oh, she's smiling right through. She has a bubbly personality, boy.
Yes.
I like talking to people like that. Aye, lovely. All right, so go down to St. Augustine South Community Center at Freeman Road in St. Augustine this August 22nd. Which one? That's Saturday or Sunday, Sir Charles?
Yeah, Saturday.
Saturday, August 22nd, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pavi is having their community outreach. Go down there and get your eyes tested for free. You understand? And of course, all the other associated things with that. You can call them at, let me get that number, 220-1073, or WhatsApp them at 762-5261. All right? Those are the numbers. Please feel free to contact me. All right? I just have one thing I have to say to before we close off, for somebody who came into the chat the first time I'm seeing this name. Christian, I'm assuming I got that correct. Christian, morning. Thanks for giving us balanced and intelligent commentary. How can I get the other recorded NETT programs? Are they on YouTube as well? Yes, every single program that we've done is available on YouTube. as we speak. Feel free to go back and look at any amount that you can see. And we have a lot to look at.
Trust me, we have a whole lot. Yeah, and that is the beauty of having it archived on YouTube, so you can go back any point in time and see any one of our interviews.
Yep.
All right, so people, we have what time is it? 12 minutes before 9 o'clock. So we can take a couple of your calls. 281131929951556. Richard, you're back on the platform.
Yeah, look him there.
Here, please put
looking pensive. It is dropping sorrow or some kind of thing.
No, it's called being attractive and moody in a picture. That's what it's called.
Oh, Lord. Well, let's see how hard this work must be sometimes. If Sir Charles ain't defending the indefensible, we have this one here talking a set of chupids.
Hey, I don't need
that opportunity to pong, Sir Charles.
What she just says is that when Sir Charles disagree with me, but that's all right. I will take that. Anyhow, people are taking their calls. And Mr. Patrick, good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah. Morning, Charles. Rendell, Richard, morning.
Morning, Mr. Patrick.
I wish my wife was just like that lady.
What do you mean?
What do you mean by that?
I wish my wife was like that lady.
What do you mean by that? You need to explain.
The bubbly personality.
That woman jolly, jovial, bubbly. That woman is fun, boy.
Mr. Patrick, is that, your wife nowhere close to you? I see I got
clearly, she must be migrant.
You know, have some wife in your house, oh God, man, like they like Bin Laden, boy.
They like decent. They like decent.
Yeah, man, you're up and course, boy.
Mr. Patrick, you move on the house?
He
must be by Bowo standing up and talking. I'm sure he by Bowo by Gregory talking. He ain't gonna be talking from home.
I don't, Mr. Patrick.
Well, yes, boy. It turns out why you just be in house, boy. You will never. Oh God, who is the man here? Yes,
and if you talk to the wife, she blaming the husband, eh?
But there's always switches are wrong, boy. It comes like the Adam and Eve syndrome. The woman barely sleeps.
Oh God, Mr. Patrick. I could not like you, boy.
At the end of the day, we love them. We love them, Mr. Patrick. We love them, regardless of what.
No, boy. If you rock and cough, you boy, I can run from them.
Mr. Patrick.
Yeah. But I was listening to Mariano Brong, boy. And I like to listen to intelligent, learned people when they could come with educated stuff. And after yesterday, I had a conversation with that guy. I said, governments don't really run countries. It's Wall Street, it's the trading, it's the capitalists that run your country. Look, for instance, you can put PNM there, you can put UNC there. Who in charge? All of them is only puppets for the big capitalists and them and all that. You understand? What the capitalists say goes. What these oil people, Exxon and BP and them say, it goes. All we just get is these crumbs. Right? I was reading something yesterday. A guy have oil, right? They get oil, they get it, but they're still in poverty. So where these oil-rich country people, like Venezuela, oil-rich country, why do people have been so much poverty? Well, you could explain that?
Good question, Mr. Patrick.
Maybe
these people take all the money.
Places still have poverty because they have politicians still there too, who are corrupt, and they have business people there who are corrupt,
Oil to throw away, oil to give away, and the people in poverty, boy. Something wrong with them kind of thinking, and the same thing in Trinidad. Trinidad at that time had money. They say, Dr. Ekwela, at that time, you could get every citizen in Trinidad, they got $1 million. You remember that?
No, you know what affects that, Mr. Patrick? politics and the visionary of leaders, the visionary capacity of leaders, so that if leaders are more preoccupied with simple things about what we're getting out of this and how to make my party continue in power, etc. If they consider, if that's what the granular details that they're looking at, and they're not looking at the empowerment of citizens and lifting the entire society, then that's what you get. So that in 2026, after all of the oil booms and gas booms that Trinidad and Tobago has had post 1962, you still have 200,000 plus people waiting for HDC houses, because in all of that time we couldn't build the houses. You understand? In all of that time since 19.
Yeah, boy.
Richard, you lost it there for a bit.
You know, I just always tell people, when people watch me and listen to me talk, you know, PNM real thief money in the country.
Mr. Patrick, when the PNM so.
But it's true, the kind of money PNM went through in these boom days, boy, until 1986 when the recession come. And where the money went, I don't know. I know you ain't see come now and them want to take the rest to buy.
Mr. Patrick, have a good day. you have a good day, all right? From one Patrick to the next Patrick. How will you just do that? Mr. Billy?
Like you planning that?
I don't know. I don't know. Like always magnet and steel.
But thanks very much for taking my call. Greatly appreciate it coming up to the end as a tail ender. I just want to make 2 points. One is I wasn't watching the program or listening to it whole morning, right? I just came on here when I saw the last guest here you had. And one Miss Finley, right? Who are from the Pabo, as you say. And you're asking people, encouraging people to go and get their eyes tested. So there'll be something around the thing impaired persons. I just want to say to you this morning that the country need to stop bad talking. I use the word bad, a strong word. The police service. I want to say that not all the police are rogue police officers. I have about 3 or 4 police living in my compound here. And they're some of the most decent, law-abiding, God-fearing people. I heard on the next station a lady calling and real bashing the police. I give the police. And I will say in some instance, some rogue police officers in the service is maybe causing that. But I'm saying we as citizens, right-thinking citizens, must encourage the police to do their work. And the police commissioner vowed to get rid of the rogue police officers. We had some of them in the defense board. I left the service there as a very senior officer, and we had to deal with those kind of people too. So I am saying we live in a very lawless, we live in a very crime-riddled society. And what the police is doing is trying to keep us safe. And I am saying you cannot bash the police at everything and paint all the police officers with the same brush. I have a serious problem with that. There's law-abiding citizens who are doing the correct thing. And we must encourage them to pick up themselves and leave their family and go and to protect us. Because whenever they go there now, it's a little 19-year-old, maybe they will be meeting up with an AR-15 or AK-47 looking the back at them. And I am saying that is unfair to paint all the police with the same brush. Do not do it all here. Please, let us support the police service, what they are doing. We are living in a very trying time. Thank you very much.
Mr. Billy, I hear you on that, and I don't disagree with you. The problem is the good police doing nothing, doing very little, I shouldn't say nothing, very little about the bad police. I agree with you that there are good police officers. There are good politicians too, but guess what? Then all that be lumped as corrupt and whatever. You understand? It goes with the territory. If you do nothing about the people that are bringing down your organization, then you're as bad as them,
Yeah, come like
and that's what's going on with the TTPS. Every day you're reading about somebody being compensated and the state had to compensate them because of some rogue idiot in the police service. And you know why? Because some senior officer didn't say, hey, that's a stupid charge. What are you doing? What are you harassing the people for? let go that man. Nobody's saying anything.
And
They're just letting it go.
Because as I identified, it happens in the soldiers, the cold guard, the customs. I mean, it's just a mess.
Yeah, and I just wanted to, as we closing off, I just wanted to address that issue of why you can have so much wealth and still it not translate into spectacular development and the highest standard of living on planet Earth.
All right, Richard, can I actually just pause it for 1 minute? Let me just take this caller in, this last caller, and then we'll be able to wrap it up with that now, please. All right, caller, go ahead.
Good morning, Sir Charles. Sir Charles, Richard Selva want to talk to and ask a question because I tried to get in yesterday morning when he was talking about the Chief Justice and the Judiciary. And the question I want to find out is, did the Hall of Justice start back allowing people to come there to do probates, like letters of administration also? Because why I'm asking that question, I remember the last government in office going there and they was telling people, you have to get a lawyer from the outside to do it now, and it'll cost you about $500, and that is not so because people have to pay more than that to get letters of administration done. So this is why I'm asking, is it that they're going to allow people now to come there again and do probates?
Well, I will assume so. I have no clue. I don't know. But I assume so. But I remember once an estate, if it's a small estate under $4,800, you don't need a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
If it's above that, then you need an attorney. If I had to simply answer you,
what have to be done is to would anybody nobody wouldn't know if they actually started it back or not unless you go and find out.
Yeah, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And the CJ did say from September 1st, I think, the reverting to the old archaic system is going to take place.
He said for certain things. He didn't say for all. He said for some. That's what
he said magistrate's court, didn't he? Mm-hmm. And to me, magistrate's court is the biggest.
Yeah. You see, when Richard, I'll tell you one thing. When they was building those buildings like the Hall of Justice and courthouses, they never think about building car parks, right? And this is the reason why we have all these problems that we have in Trinidad. One more thing I want to say before I leave. I don't want to keep all the back. When you all was interviewing the acting commissioner of police yesterday, and he was talking about infringing on people and this and that and the other, my reply to him was, you all are infringing on people's rights when you have roadblocks and all our gas burning out in this roadblock and we're not getting compensation for it. When they should be using technology now, like what they're doing in other countries. It's only in Trinidad we backward, where we have to keep our roadblock and have a lot of people lined up in traffic with licensed officers and police when they're supposed to be using technology to deal with the same matter.
We get in there, man. Don't worry, we get in there. So as we sort out the body cam situation, we're gonna work with that technology.
They don't want to hear about body cams, and apparently they don't want to have nothing to do with technology. We want to be backward. Yeah.
All right, thanks much, Ken. Right. Thank you very much. Yeah, don't worry, man. So we fix the body cam, we're gonna put some other things in place. Yeah, Richard, go ahead.
That is genuine. That I now recognize the voice from the person I met the other day.
Yeah,
I now realize who it is.
Right. Richard, you there? Richard?
Yeah, get knocked off. You must leave him, let him flow sometimes, man. He was flowing.
You hear me? You hear me now?
Yes, Richard.
Okay. Now, what I wanted to reference is why countries never take care of their citizens in a way. I shouldn't say never, because some do accomplish it. But certainly in terms of this hemisphere and the Caribbean, and speaking about Trinidad and Tobago post-1962 to where we are today, where you still have people living in all sorts of substandard housing and people struggling to make ends meet and all sorts of economic issues, rather than being a vibrant economy like what Singapore achieved. And let me tell you, Singapore, when it got self-governance in 1959, they aligned themselves with Malaysia because they were a small country and they felt they needed to align themselves with Malaysia, right? Because they didn't feel they could survive on their own. Malaysia basically said, we don't want you, Go your way. That's what Malaysia basically tell them, And in 1965, they became a republic. And Lee Kuan Yew at that point says, we have...
Yeah, Richard, internet jumping in.
Yeah, he on the road still. That's probably why.
Yeah. You're not hearing me?
We now hear you.
Yeah, and after when Lee Kuan Yew in 1965 and they became a republic and they were on their own, they put their shoulders to the wheel and said, okay, we need to survive and we need to now make this the best country on planet Earth. And they've basically accomplished it. And why? They concentrated on education. They went into mass housing, which is what they still do. 80% of the housing in in Singapore is government owned or government developed. And they recognize that when you lift people's quality of life, that's when you lift their aspirations. What do we do in this country? 1.4 million people, less people, more money. We still have a backlog of 200,000 people. We still have problems for water. Why? Because we have been saddled with inefficient governments, and
yeah, some of those trigger words just cut off the internet.
Once Richard used the word government in this 5 years here, you're gonna get cut off.
Automatically, bam.
Automatic.
All right, but I don't know much of that all. I don't know much of that all you heard, so I'll stop there.
No, Richard, apparently once you use the word government, you in particular, these 5 years here, you're gonna get cut off.
Inefficient government, that's what we lost.
We've been saddled with inefficient governments. And that's why you're not seeing the tangible results, that you have ridiculous roads, lack of housing, 200,000 people on a waiting list, and people living in substandard places. And water, we can't even provide water 24 hours a day for 1.4 million people. And we accept it. And we have loyalists to both parties saying, yeah, oh my God, this is the party to do it. And we're in 2026. And our younger generations have to be looking at us as complete idiotic generations, that we could not have achieved more post-1962.
Anyhow, leave it there, Richard. Don't go any further. It's done 5 past 9 already. I'm going to get my breakfast.
Yeah, like he just, he want me bill for
I just want the money.
Folks, have a wonderful day. Remember to let go and let God. Richard, you take it away.
Yes, of course, netradiott.com continues on the web. Excellent programming throughout the day. You have already missed the end of time. The end of time, that was on Monday. So I don't even know how you get to replay that. And of course, you can also go onto your smart devices.
Go to YouTube when you get it.
NETT Radio Trinidad, NETT Radio Trinidad on TuneIn. That's what you're going to say to whatever smart device, and you're good to go for the rest of the day. We know you have a choice in what you choose to listen and give your time to, and what you choose to watch, and we're glad that you chose us. We do appreciate it. Of course, continue to support the channel. Go onto our website and click support, and you will see how you can support the channel in terms of whatever funding that you want to contribute, because it's important in keeping the channel on the air. Have a fantastic Wednesday, people. Remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health.
All right, he'll come back in. I'll wait for him to come back.
Government.
Pay your damn bill. That's what you need to do.
Come.
Pay your data bill.
Before you get cut off again, now. Come there. This has been. Come. There we go.
You have been watching and listening to
The Breakfast Show.
Get up. It's the time to start the day. The Breakfast Show is here. We bring in the soca way. Yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes.